Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
Whoa, how about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 311 of How About That Cigar Live. Thanks so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on
Rumble.
And if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thanks so much for listening to How About That Cigar. When you drive down the road, when you work out, whatever it is you do, when you listen to your favorite audio podcasts, thanks for making us a part of it. We really appreciate that. Click on all of the big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button, so you don't miss anything we have going on. And I think it's beyond past time to bring on our fantastic, illustrious, incredible, amazing,
Who are we talking about
ethereal, universal, I don't know, I'm just making up, I'm just throwing out adjectives now. Our wonderful producer,
I like that.
Justy
What are we talking about?
Justy, don't stop smoking. What's up?
It's freaking so space heater because the big heater
because we're going outer space.
Big beautiful heater
You're always in outer space.
that hangs from the ceiling died, and I have a replacement that I haven't had time to put in place. So space heater, so we don't freeze our balls off because
we might melt though.
What is it? It is 17 degrees right now.
Hey, I was wearing shorts outside to the gym this morning, back and forth.
Well, that's to the gym. But
to sit and relax and smoke a cigar, it's a different story. I like your tumbler over there, buddy. I remember when you got that.
Oh yeah,
B&G.
Oh, nice.
I was at Ohio.
Yeah.
So
sports. Yes. Bye. Actually,
wait. There's sports.
Your Packers won. My Jets won, and we can stop talking about that. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And let's bring on some guests.
The Minnesota Vikings are absolutely atrocious.
Here's to you guys. Drink up.
They're terrible.
Especially if you're a Viking fan. Smash.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. There's just not any nice way to say it. The Vikings are terrible. So if you go back to before this NFL season started, I don't recall any of the so-called, TV experts on football saying because we're week 13, I believe. I don't recall any of the so-called NFL wonks saying after week 13, the top 3 teams in the NFL in order are going to be Denver, New England, Chicago. Nobody called that. And then nobody also would have said that after week 13, Philly would be 12th place in the NFL and Kansas City would be 19th place.
And they'd be out. They're almost out.
They're not officially mathematically eliminated, but they're in rough shape because they have to play the Texans, who have, I believe, the number one defense.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah. So
they just smacked Indy around yesterday. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That NA Heineken tastes really good.
Oh, I noticed
like
that.
2 of those in the last.
Yeah,
10 minutes.
there's 2 more.
I'm gonna have to slam them.
Pace they're NAs, but still pace
You're gonna
yourself.
have to take a piss too.
He is. He's gonna have to take.
I drink them like I used to drink. Smash, smash, smash.
That's why you stopped with the real beer. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Good call.
That bottle of Bovini that we were talking about, that
Yeah.
shit wouldn't last an hour and a half with me. Fucking crush it.
Fortunately, the Minnesota Wild are still kind of on a tear. They started out the season so bad, but they've been doing a lot better lately. And the T-Wolves are also improving a little bit more slowly. So Timberwolves are looking better. Still a lot of work to do, but it's early in the NHL season and early in the NBA season. So, we'll see how things work out. But I think it's time to jump into.
I think it's time to get a fucking cigar in my hand.
Oh, well, we'll do that in just, they're special. So
All right.
I'll give that in just a second. But let's jump into this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry. So
we're gonna talk about this real quick.
this is
a 15-year-old
15-year-old. Let me
cast strength
it's a bourbon. It smells like a bourbon.
And take a sip. Let me tell me what you think proof is.
It's got great color. It's got great legs. Great aroma. All right, here we go.
He's got more to drink too. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Proof.
I'm gonna go with. Oh, there's a interesting special something going on flavor wise. Proof. Oh, I'm gonna give a range of 106 to 113. There is an interesting, it's got a lot of the classics, that I talk about all the time. Vanilla, oak, a little caramel. But there's like a
little Rican in there. Maybe I stirred it.
Floral, maybe a little floral kind of thing cooking in there. But this is really good. I like this.
It better be. It's a 15-year.
Yeah, absolutely. A little spicy, but not like rye spicy, but just, a little bit of pop on there. So I'm digging it.
Right.
And I'll keep drinking it and we'll reveal what this Spirit of Mystery is
and I'll keep
later in the show.
while you keep
and because this week's pour was healthy.
Well, next week's going to be healthier.
Unhealthy, maybe is the better way to say it. But let's get our special guests on the show, and special guests on How About That Cigar Live, always brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And Drew Estate not just, but recently unveiled the Nica Rustica Shade. Shade is the third Nica Rustica expression, joining the original broadleaf and the Adobe. Nica Rustica Shade spotlights an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, Mexican binder leaf, and a balanced blend of Nicaraguan, American, and Dominican fillers. Available in a 4.5 by 50 short Robusto, 6 by 50 Toro, and a 5 by 66 Gordo. The Nica Rustica Shade is available now. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, we have a fantastic group of special guests coming on this evening, all from some of our favorite cigar media outlets. Let's start with Master Sensei himself, Eric Gatormson from Cigar Dojo. Brother, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm excited for this episode. I can't wait to talk about the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Denver Nuggets.
Absolutely. We can't wait, brother, and thanks so much for being on with us. Next up, from Cigar Coop, the man, the myth, the legend, William Cooper. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Good evening. Thanks for having me, guys.
Grateful to have you here,
Yeah,
brother.
I noticed Eric left out the Rockies, by the way.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, forget about that. Again.
They've already been eliminated from next year's.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow, that was early.
Yeah.
Next up, we have from Developing Palates, John, the cigar surgeon, McTavish. Welcome back, brother.
What's going on? I hope everyone's staying frosty tonight.
Well, most definitely staying frosty. And last but absolutely and certainly not least, from Cigar Press, Mr. Fred Rui. Welcome back, brother.
Oh, good evening, everybody. Go Packers.
Go Pack, go, baby. Matt LaFleur, Coach of the Year.
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
I don't. I'm not sure.
No.
That's how that's going to play out.
No, he's not. He's not on the.
He had a good. Listen, I was fair. Thanksgiving, big one. That was a big one.
That's a big one.
Big one.
Yeah.
You beat Detroit. But Dan Campbell can't win a Thanksgiving Day game, but big one. He did.
That was my stone cold.
I can't fault LaFleur.
That was my stone cold lock of the week. By the way, that was a 2-point pick for me, and the rest of the people in my fantasy pool were like, "What is going on? I thought your rage quit back in week 15." I'm like, I got to throw a little jab now and again just to remind you I know a little bit about football.
Well, and I mean, not to dirge on football too long, but coming up this week, next week, I guess technically, for the Green Bay Packers. This game against Chicago is not only one of the biggest games for the Packers all season. This is turning out to be one of the biggest games in the NFC.
Absolutely.
Season. So
it's a big game.
If Green Bay can get it done in Lambeau against the Bears, then it's going to be a very, very interesting postseason. Let me just say that.
Why don't we make a friendly wager on that?
Packers Bears?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little 5-pack.
We'll talk about it after the show. I'll think about it.
Right.
I'll think.
Let me ask you this though, Matt.
Yeah.
Is there going to be snow? Because I feel like that changes the whole dynamic of the game. If there's snow, if there's no snow,
it's the Midwest. It's probably going to be snow. It's supposed to snow on Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, I think it is supposed to snow or snow right before the game.
Yeah.
But Chicago are no strangers to that.
I am not a fan of a coach taking off his shirt in the locker room. Not because of the
That was weird, wasn't it?
But no, it's not the act of taking off the shirt that bothered me. When these coaches start getting buddy with the players, it never works out. I'm telling you, this is going to be a short honeymoon with this coach in Chicago.
Oh,
we shall see.
I am not a fan of this buddy, and I see he's got this buddy mentality with the guys in the locker room. It works, and then it suddenly falls apart.
He reminds me of Cousins a little bit.
Oh, well, yeah, a little, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just know that Eric, you had it pegged before, and not really, but I just know, like, not in your head, but in your heart, you knew before the NFL season even started that Denver was going to be number one in the NFL right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, everybody can see it. Everybody can see it coming, I mean, no, I have to say, I'm a bit surprised at this. Like, I didn't, I saw that Denver was making good moves and maybe they were an up and coming team, but I didn't expect this. I don't think anybody did. And even still, I mean, hey, I'm excited we're winning, but let's face it, we're winning in kind of some weird ways, and so.
Yeah,
I still feel like we have a ways to go yet.
Eric. Here's what I say, because every time a team wins, somebody will throw out "Oh, you guys only won by a field goal. You only
a win's a win.
A win's a win."
Win's a win.
I don't. This whole trying to tear teams down because they only won by a field goal or ref call. It doesn't matter because just as many teams lost by the same token. So who cares, man?
It's true.
The record is the record. You know what I mean? And good for them.
I'd like to shout out to Unbanned Cigar. Yes, everybody still hates the Cowboys. All of them hate the Cowboys. So yes. So I got my.
I don't know who made the schedule. I don't know how the schedules are made. But for Green Bay to have 5 out of 7 of their last games to be division games makes no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, two of the games in December are the Bears. I mean, like I said, 5 out of 7 to be division games. I just don't know how that got spread out that
I
way.
agree.
I
That's
think
crazy.
I like it,
Last
actually.
year, one of the teams in our
Oh, I
division
like it
had
for controlling our own destiny.
That's
Bottom
why I
line
like
is
it, yeah.
if you can win in December, you're pretty much there. But I mean, wow.
I did think it was odd when I was looking at the standings, and I'm like, how have like two teams in the division only played 2 divisional games, and other teams in the division have played 5 divisional games? I'm like,
Yeah.
that doesn't
Yeah.
math. What
Yeah.
the hell?
Yeah.
Very strange.
I want to first. I want to ask all of our all the guys on the show tonight to let us know what they're smoking and drinking. And while we're getting into that, I want all our viewers to jump in the comments on Facebook, YouTube, and you didn't say it. Rumble. You didn't say Facebook, YouTube, and
I'm trying to read. You know, I can't
Well, jump in.
multitask.
All our viewers jump in the comments and let us know what you're smoking and drinking. I want to start with Fred Rui. What are you smoking and drinking with us on the show this evening?
So Dojo just came out with the Redux Deluxe, which is out of Casada, and I was really looking forward to this. And not reviewing it, but smoking it right off the truck. So everybody, we talked about this before the show started. I'm willing to do that, but I'm pairing it with a Balvenie Doublewood, which is a go-to for me, and I'm really enjoying the cigar so far. This is really good. It's everything I hoped it would be. It's excellent.
Fantastic. Speaking of Cigar Dojo, let's go next to.
We're going to change his name to Fred Big Money.
Big Money.
Big money. There you go.
Let's go to Eric Gatormson. Eric, what are you smoking and drinking with us this evening?
First of all, I just want to remind everybody that Fred Rui was actually with me when the Redux Deluxe was initially born as a little teeny baby embryo down in the DR. We were at the factory together. So I don't know if he remembers that or not, but a year and a half ago, we were down there together. That was fun. Nice. I am smoking The Goat by AJ Fernandez. This was a kind of a surprise cigar for me. I thought it was really good. And I saw another one in my humidor. And I said, you know what? I'm going to smoke this tonight because I feel like Matt Ty is the GOAT. So cheers to Matt Ty, buddy. You're one of my favorite guys in the whole entire world. Little Buffalo Trace.
Cheers to all you guys.
Cheers.
I appreciate that, brother. And then speaking further of Balvenie Doublewood, John McTavish from Developing Palates. What are you smoking and drinking with?
Yeah, talking about big money. So I think you should probably call me Big Money because I broke out. I don't know. I should have gotten the Balvenie, but I broke out the big money as the Edredor 19 Bordeaux cask. It's probably a little much for the cigar I'm smoking, but I saw it in there and I'm like, now's the time. And pairing it with a Bond Roberts Linea D number 109.
Bond Roberts.
Yeah.
That's a deep track right there. I like it.
What cigar did you say you were smoking, John?
It's not. You got to get Jordan to put it on. I tried to check it in. I couldn't check it in.
What is it? What?
It's the Bond Roberts.
Oh, okay.
Linea D number 1. Yeah.
Well, I've never heard of it.
I'll send you the
We
info.
have extensive coverage on Cigar Coop on it, by the way.
That's right. Coop posted
we actually a pretty
Coop's
cool
been posting the
project.
releases.
It's Hamlet Paredes is involved with the project. It's actually a really cool project. And I have finally John smoked one, and I was impressed with it because you wouldn't expect those cigars coming from Honduras either. That was what was amazing about those.
Little inside track. I was one of the many people who were on the tasting panel, so they kept sending samples, and I kept doing the developing palettes and being like, no, not this one, no, not this one, no, not this one.
So Coop, what are you smoking and drinking with us this evening?
Well, I lit up a Mi Querida Emerald Fish, which is the smoke-in exclusive that's been now released for the second year in a row. So they call it Mi Querida Green. I call it the Mi Querida Blue on steroids. This is what I wanted Tricky Traca to taste like, is what I tell people.
Right on.
Yeah,
Okay.
this because it's more in the lines of a Mi Querida Blue. I'm just going with Diet Pepsi, nothing fancy here though.
Attaboy.
So yeah, this is a good cigar. I mean, folks, I don't know if Abe still got some of these remaining, but if you're a soccer fan, it's a very good cigar.
Nice.
He should release this national. He really should release this one national.
Oh, I'm sure it's coming.
I'm sure at some point too. I don't know when though. Yeah.
So what we here in the How About That Cigar Studios are smoking, I haven't even shown these guys yet.
Nope.
And Eric has has good
Whip
knowledge
it out. Whip it out.
of these cigars. So 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be one of the people to go on the first ever Cigar Dojo Drew Estate Cigar Safari. We had an absolutely wonderful time. We learned a ton. We had just great camaraderie and laughs, and it was a fantastic trip. And as people might remember from the Cigar Safari trips, at the end of the trip, one of the things you got to do was blend your own cigars, both on the Hoya side and on the Drew Estate side. And so there were only 10 of these cigars ever made.
Look at
And
you.
the last two, these are 10-year-old cigars. The last two in existence go to my great, fantastic studio mates here.
Oh,
Thanks, bro.
And
Wow.
and I have for myself one of the Hoya blends that is from that same trip. And to let you guys know what you're smoking, that is a San Andreas wrapper. It's a 7x42.
What
It's a
perfect
San
size.
Andreas
They
wrapper.
hated you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
San Andreas wrapper with a Habano binder, fillers from Jalapa, Esteli, and a hint of Ometepe.
That sounds delightful.
Ooh,
That sounds delightful.
Ometepe.
And I haven't smoked one for about 5 years, and the last time I did smoke one, it was pretty legit. So I hope you guys enjoy that. That is our cigars of the evening.
So
here.
are you worried that they're not good anymore, which is why you gave both of them to them? I mean, I'm just
What are you guys pairing that with over there?
yeah. What are you drinking with? Well, you don't know yours.
I've got the Spirit of Mystery, which is a nice bourbon with some classic elements and a little kind of cool floral note going on. And I've also got a bottle just for refreshment's sake of Yingling Lager.
Nice. 'Tis the season.
I'm crushing my third Heineken 00 NA.
Slow down.
You
Slow
know
down.
what? You know what?
Slow
Those
down.
those Heineken 00s are actually really good for a no alcohol beer. Those and the Guinness, I think, kind of remarkably good. Like if you close your eyes, you almost can't tell.
There's been
This is coming from the Canadians, so you all better listen to that shit.
Right.
honestly in the last 2 years, there's been so many good NA beers that have come out lately. A lot of hazy IPAs. They're just really hitting the market hard.
It's not just hop water, you know.
And
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking actually some organic chicken bone broth with
Dude,
Okay. All right.
the out of the box pairing.
Wow. Yeah, that's
minerals put back into it. I'm starting my 3-day bone broth fast, so let's go.
Dude, that is I love that. That is like next level out of the box pairing right
that
there.
is a pairing I've
like
never
it.
heard.
Yeah,
Never
like
heard
it.
that
It's
one.
impressive. That's impressive.
Wow.
Super Grok says it goes well with cigars, so that's what I'm sticking with.
Let me
I
know.
could see
Let
the
me know.
saltiness
Actually,
in it,
there may be some pairings, food pairings coming on Coop next year. So I'm curious about that.
There you
Oh,
go.
super sweet.
Yeah.
Don't encourage them. Don't encourage them.
A chef Ed Porter on that show, huh?
Oh, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go. All right. So first question that I want to ask you guys about, I want to start with Eric from Cigar Dojo. What do you love and what do you hate? And hate's a strong word, but what do you love and what do you dislike about working in cigar media?
I love Coop and I hate Fred.
Oh, that's our show, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
No, in all seriousness, though, I do actually love the friendships part of it. Like, so when I said Coop, I kind of meant that. Like, I've met so many good buddies, John and Fred and Coop, and just, I mean, like a whole host of guys. Matt, me and you got to hang out way back in the day, and I still consider you a good buddy. Like all of that kind of stuff, I just absolutely love. What do I hate? You know, I don't hate a lot. I got to be honest with you. I sort of wake up in the morning and feel like, you know, like Eric Espinosa always says, like, you know, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's kind of true. Like I sort of feel like there are some elements in the the media, some guys that try to be provocative, and that's probably the only thing that I hate is these 15 minutes of fame guys that just come in and try to destroy, rip down other brands and other media outlets, and I think you guys probably know some of the guys I'm talking about. That's probably the only thing about the industry that I hate. Pretty much everything else I love. It's a great industry to be a part of, and I enjoy doing it every single day.
Sorry, I just had to turn the heater off. It's too friggin' hot in here now.
What? So Matt basically didn't hear a word I said.
You didn't hear a word you said.
I just rolled back for a second.
It was gem. It was amazing.
I'm
The
teasing.
other way to turn it off.
The 2026 Oscar goes to
Matt, the cigar right off the rip.
Yeah. Oh, you like it?
Probably the best one I've had all week.
Nice.
Wow, nice.
Nice.
How's it pairing with the bone broth?
Delicious.
Nice.
A little saltiness on the back end.
There you go.
I didn't.
I love
Just
saltiness.
opened it all the way.
We're only like 300 shows into this when I realize now that you guys are in the same studio.
Righty.
So there we go. I mean,
This is a field that from Matt's Cigar Safari that I got stuck in. So
That picture is from, I think that picture is from when we were in Nicaragua. Maybe that was from when
It does look like the farms in Esteli, yeah.
that might have been my second trip when in 2018 when I went to Puro Sabor. But hey, it's Nicaragua, so it's all good. So Fred, what do you love about working in cigar media, and what do you not like so much?
So the media stuff's still relatively new for me, so it's tough to say what I like about the media part. I mean, it's just an extension of, my journey in the cigar industry and kind of the interaction. But I'd probably say what Eric said also, as far as, I've met people in this industry that are great friends that without cigars, I wouldn't have discovered certain cities to go to or restaurants or people and stuff like that. So that's what I love. And I think it's what drew us all to cigars to begin with, right? I mean, you can go to a random town that you don't know anybody. You can walk into a cigar bar and you feel like that piece of home. There's a familiarity to it. So I love that. I love the banter and everything back and forth. I also don't really hate much. I'm pretty low key. Probably the one, I'm sure we'll come up with more of them tonight, but the one irk I have is, I think that people in media or making cigars or starting to make cigars, some of them kind of have this chip on their shoulder and they try to go a different route. And I've always said, look, you can be a disruptor or attempt to be a disruptor, but you can't be disrespectful. You can't disrespect the people that brought us to where we are today. I don't care how cutting edge you think your company is or how you've discovered tobacco that nobody has. And, oh my God, you have Cuban seed. Wow, good for you. But I mean, I think that you can't be respectful of other people that have forged the ground, and you can't be disrespectful of the process of it. I mean, the process as far as, it starts with the growers. It starts with those guys. I mean, if you don't have a good product to work with, you're just rolling up leaves after the fact. I mean, to me, the field is the science and the rolling and blending is the art. And I just don't think you can be disrespectful of people that have been generations ahead of you, that it's in their DNA, and think you just, enter into the scene and you've got the best cigar in the world and be disrespectful of those other people that got you there, that have earned their stripes, if you will. So that's always a hot button for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Coop, what about you? What do you love about cigar media, and what do you not like so much?
If it wasn't the content creation piece of, I wouldn't be doing this. And everyone has a different way of doing content creation. Mine's with the typewriter for the most part. Maybe with the camera secondary. And if you don't love doing that piece, you shouldn't be in it, right? So the one thing is, I still love to go back with the typewriter and the green visor, as Eric Jack gave me that green visor, and there's still some good old school stuff. I did a podcast yesterday that just really reinvigorated me because when you're around people who are just so kind, everyone's so kind. it's amazing when you hear kind feedback. You could be down in the dumps, and it really could pick you up sometimes. So I think in general, most of the people are good. You know, there's a couple of bad apples out there, as Eric mentioned. The negative part is I just think that the cigar industry, we're always an afterthought with media, and it's frustrating. And it's at a point where it's pulling on a rope. It's probably not worth. You like Eric will joke. I complain about a lot of stuff. It doesn't mean I point out the negatives. Sometimes doesn't mean I hate this stuff either. I think I'm just more inclined to point out the negatives. But the big negative is just the lack of like I said, just we are always the afterthought when it comes to media. So and it's frustrating. It is frustrating. I'm starting to dabble in some other areas where I'm discovering that is not the case. But the cigar industry, that's the case. Yeah.
I got cold quick.
No, I understand that, and we will touch on that again during the show. So, Surgeon, what's your favorite? What's your least favorite?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo what a lot of guys have said already, and it's not because it's cliche. It's because I never would have thought the people that I met in the industry and through my travels around the world would become this sort of more than a casual friendship, like these deep connections with people, like truly care about these people all over the world. And I think the industry itself, just the whole culture of cigars, truly has made me a better person. Just this whole concept of, giving cigars away to people because, they like them or they're attached to this brand. And you're like, well, I have a couple of those. I'll give that to them and make that guy's day. And, you don't think of it in terms of you giving something away. You think of it in terms of making this person happy. And, it's like a mini Santa Claus kind of thing. And so, I've been doing this now coming up on 14 years. And I think of all the people I've met starting from sort of day one. And Fred was kind of one of the first people I met in the industry. And now here we are 13 years later, hanging on a podcast show together. And it's sometimes a little surreal, but it's truly what brings me back every year. I mean, we talk about the trade show, and the trade show is great, and I love cigars, sure. But that's not what brings me back every year. What brings me back is seeing the people that I've forged friendships and relationships with, and seeing them and catching up and seeing how they're doing. Like that's what it's all about.
I agree with that a lot. And I've traveled with all you guys in one form or another. Eric quite a bit. No, it's true. I think someone's may beat the miles record because I went to Dubai with the person I went to Dubai with twice might now beat the miles record, but not the amount of times.
Well, that's just not fair. That's just a. That's
well,
just
you have to go to we have to go to Dubai. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, all right. I'll just do that.
Yeah. So
I'll never forget the was it the chicken?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the chicken. I'll never forget those.
Perdomo. We were at Perdomo. Yeah, we were at Perdomo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's still.
I'm gonna get that chicken.
The funniest posts I've ever seen on Cigar social media was about the chicken. That was so. Great.
I was Burgess Meredith.
Nice.
And Coop was
That's right, idiot.
So there's so many possible aspects to cigar media.
Wait, do you want to drop my negative?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I want to drop the negative.
Yeah.
So totally on board with what Eric said. In fact, that would have been mine. I hate rage bait and clickbait. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's just so divisive. But for me, the one thing I would pick is when I'm starting to get to know somebody, and maybe we don't have a strong relationship in the industry, but we're having a private conversation and they can't sort of drop the business facade. It drives me a little batty. It's like, we're not presenting here. We're not showcasing. Like, you can just be yourself. We can just have a conversation. And I think sometimes maybe, especially if you're new, some people are kind of stuck in the mindset of, always being on and not learning to turn that off. And it doesn't happen often, but it does happen occasionally. And you kind of look at them and go, man, it's okay. You can just be yourself. Like it's all good.
Yep.
No one's taking notes.
That's a great point, John. I don't know if I had thought about that more than maybe in the moment before on some interviews and things like that, whether it was a trade show interview or an interview on this show. But yeah, it's sometimes I think there are some that have a hard time kind of leaving that image behind and just talking.
John, that's because they get in your presence and they're like, "Oh my God, I am with."
I gotta make a good impression.
Cigar surgeon.
Yeah.
I've got to like act like I know a buttload of tobacco knowledge.
He could give me a 3 stars and 3 stars from a Canadian. I mean, that's gonna ruin my entire business.
Yeah, what's the
I mean, that's
what's the exchange rate?
That's a 10-star exchange rate. I mean,
It
let's
is a
be honest.
10-star
I
exchange
mean,
rate. That's right.
If I don't say the right thing, he might only give me a 5.16.
That's right.
Ouch.
And never recover. Never recover.
All right. So of all the aspects of cigar media, and there's everybody's got their own way of doing things and their own kind of things that they focus on. There's some who are, really journalistic focused and some who are entertainment focused and a lot of things even in between there. So whether it's reviews, news, pairings, interviewing cigar brand owners and that kind of thing, cigar lifestyle information or entertainment, which one gets you the most traffic for your media outlet? And is that also the kind of content that you like producing the most? Coop, I'm going to start with you.
All right. So I won't put the asterisk one in there, but it's the reviews that still get the most traffic.
Okay.
All right. It's definitely the reviews. So, and I kind of put an asterisk because I will tell you the food reviews have blown up to another level. I mean, it's unbelievable. But that being said, the thing I would love to be reporting on is the news. I would much rather be doing news stuff, but as I said, it's becoming more of pushing on a rope, and the ROI is not there anymore. So, and I still enjoy doing cigar reviews. If I didn't enjoy doing cigar reviews, I'd be hanging it up for sure. So yeah, it's the reviews. I notice when we sometimes go slower with the review piece, the numbers change. So I know the effort that's being put into the reviews is certainly worth it. So it's the reviews. Yeah.
Okay. Fred, same question for you. What gets the most traffic, and is that also part of one of the aspects that you enjoy?
To kind of dovetail on what John said earlier, there's a certain freedom in just being genuine in who you are, right, wrong, or indifferent, and not trying to be this vision of what you think you're supposed to be in the industry. And this is true. We see this all the time with cigar makers. We see this all the time with different influencers and things like that. When I had a brand, when I had Nomad, it literally was from the very beginning, follow me in my journey of learning and what I did right, what I did wrong, and I had no problem sharing it. So I tried to bring that over to Cigar Press. And even before Cigar Press with Final Puff, my goal was to sit down and do interviews and have people see them as I saw them, as real people, where they didn't have that facade, and did interviews with Fuente and Casadas and Lido, and have them see them as real people, because they are real people. Yeah. So I enjoy that aspect. Reviews are my least favorite because it's subjective. You may like the cigar, I may hate the cigar. It may be your profile, it may not be your profile. So it's my least favorite because it's this dance of what's the first third and the second third and the third third and the fifth third, and I don't even know what the fourth third is. I mean, it's like I don't know what all that is. I mean, so when I bought half of Cigar Press and decided, okay, my journey is taking me to the media side, I told Thor out of the gate, I'm like, I really don't want to do the reviews, because to me, they're all friends. They all put blood, sweat, and tears into creating a blend that works for some people and not other people. And in my opinion, look, y'all get 94s. Can we just move on? I mean, you got to go out of your way to make a bad cigar. So I like just sharing, and what gets the most traction for me is when I'm just being me, and I'm just like, what's with these stupid fucking glasses that have a notch, like, to put, I'm a grown ass man. I can hold a cigar and a glass at the same time. And that's the stuff I have fun with. I mean, I'll do a stupid video on, smoking a cigar and trying to review a cigar in 105 degrees out here in the humidity and how it's horrible. I enjoy that because it's real. So I just try to have a lot of what a lot of the conversations that we get to have off air are what I try to bring on air or in articles. And some of the articles, yeah, I do some 101 stuff that gets traction, like, hey, how you should do this or how you should do that. But someone actually, and I didn't realize I was going down this road, but someone said to me when they looked at Cigar Press a year after I've had it, which is just over a year now, and it was bringing fun back to the cigar industry a little bit. And I didn't realize that was a thing, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I enjoy it. I enjoy the company. I enjoy our best times when we're sitting around after the show, sitting around with the little time we get together, and we're all just laughing over stupid shit.
Yeah.
And that's what the cigar industry is for me. And so that's my favorite stuff to do. And luckily, that's what probably gets the most traction for me.
Yeah. Sensei, what's your thoughts on this particular subject? What gets traffic, and does it match what you enjoy?
Well, without question, and I think Coop would probably revise his answer a little bit based on what I'm going to say. Without question, the year-end list blows away everything by a mile. Like
I included that with the review piece. So
okay.
yeah,
all right, yeah.
So I'm going. Yeah, absolutely, you're right on that. Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing that comes.
Nothing comes close to that. Yeah.
It's at least 20 times, and I'm not even exaggerating. It's at least 20 times.
It's a year-long process for me too. So
yeah, and but then second for us is some of our fun content that we do. Like Jordan did a article about cigars that have a hard time when you tear off the band, and like he gave like a report card on like brands that do
epic.
And we got
great.
so much traffic on that crazy thing, and people were so mad, like, oh my god, how could you say that about Roma Craft? Well, their bands stick to the wrapper. I love Roma Craft cigars, but they have it, and so like that was kind of fun. And then reviews probably come in after that. And then news. For us, news isn't a thing. Like I always tell people, if you really want news, follow Coop or Half Wheel. We do news. We do news on the dojo because it keeps content flowing and that kind of stuff. But that's not our expertise. Coop is dramatically better at that than we are. I don't even want to compete with him at that because he's just so much better at it than we are. And so news is down the line. But for me, the thing that I like the most is just the community building. I did that before I got into cigars. I was into community building. I did several other big, huge websites. Some of them got extremely popular back in the day. So some of the communities that I built early on that weren't cigar related. And so that I brought that into cigars, which is what my expertise is. So that's that's what I like to do. And so I guess that's what I'd say is be the funnest thing for me is building the communities, building the dojo verse, adding things that guys want to see and have fun. That's a ton of fun. But then, but as far as traffic, cigar of the year killed it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Surgeon, what about you?
Yeah, the top 25. So interestingly enough for us, the top 25 cigar show is number 2 because I'm pretty sure that our recap show where we just sort of meander on for an hour and a half about what happened in the industry and our experiences with cigars, like just this sort of general recap that we do, and we typically bring on people from other media sites to do that. And it lends itself to some really interesting and I think open and transparent conversations about the industry, good and bad. And that show typically outperforms the top 25. So I think it goes sort of the recap show, top 25. And then number 3 is probably got to be when Coop brings me on to do guest spot on the CA guest, when we do the top 25 guesses for Cigar Aficionado. I'm pretty sure that's like that show is just sort of taking on a life of its own.
That's our biggest show of the year.
Go ahead, Coop.
When we stopped, we didn't do it one year, and the backlash we got was incredible.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I've never. So I get. I mean, I'm not Steve Saka, so I'm not getting 175 messages a day, thank God. But I do get messages, and most of the time, the messages I get are like, "Hey, can you recommend some cigars?" Or like, "I like this cigar. Can you recommend this cigar?" And I love helping people out. But when that show didn't air, like Coop said, I was getting like every 2 days, I was getting bombarded by messages of why didn't you guys run the show? And I'm like, well, it's not my show. I don't have control over. I don't have creative direction over the show. Like I can put in a good word. And I'm like, oh, I missed that show. I can't believe you guys are doing this. I say, okay, well, so I talked, Coop and I and everyone had a conversation. We said, okay, well, obviously we need to keep doing the show because you've never seen so much pushback on not doing a show as the time we didn't do the show the one time. And honestly, for me, I enjoy reviews. I mean, it's work, it's hard work, and I enjoy reviews. But I think for me, the thing I enjoy the most is coming on to other people's shows and just having a conversation about the industry or cigars or, like Jay was saying, what our favorite sci-fi show is or what our favorite whiskey is, and just having an open conversation and sort of allowing the community at large to kind of participate in that and throw their comments up. And I love that. That's where I get all the energy from is that this is what does it for me. I would just do this if I could.
Yeah. Well, and that goes to the, talking about your favorite whiskeys or your favorite sci-fi shows or, favorite, I can think of so many things that Dojo has done as favorite candy bars and favorite, the brackets for candy bars and breakfast cereal. And it's because it's just real talk. It's shit that people just sit around and talk about anyway. Yep. It's like, oh, you like Fruit Loops, you're an idiot for liking Fruit Loops. Oh, you like $100 grand bar, you're an idiot for or what, and just those kind of fun, conversations where you get in a little bit of disagreement here and then you laugh and you just keep smoking your, and then it'll kind of be broken up periodically with a little talk about, oh, what do you think about, I haven't tried that cigar yet. Well, what do you think about that? Or I haven't had that whiskey yet or whatever. And it's just real talk.
What's interesting about that though, is that we found, and I mean, we've been doing it for so long now and we're almost on 500 episodes, but what we've sort of found out just by, looking at the analytics and everything is like, you can't do that too much because if you do that too much, people actually get bored of that. And so you have to have enough of a variety of a show where that when you get to like a bracket challenge, it's like, oh, this is going to be fun. Let's have this. It's a unique show. It's out of the box. It's different. You're not going to be talking about cigars so much. But if you did that, once a month or something like that, then people start to get bored of it. Yeah. I've always said, like, it's so crazy. It's like we used to have a prize every single week when we started the Dojo app. Every single week we gave away a prize. And then after a while, people got bored of winning stuff. And you wouldn't think that would be a thing, but it's 100% true. Like you could give away a gold bar every single week. And like after like 13 episodes, people be like, oh God, here's another gold bar episode. I don't want that. You just have to keep continually mixing it up, to keep that balance. And it's kind of hard to figure out that balance. But anyway, it is funny how that works.
Eric, I agree with that because I had that same problem. However, when I moved the contest to the website, it changed everything. It just because people, what I discovered is they didn't tune in specifically to win a prize. They know there'll be another prize next week or something like that. But the website, it's kind of like, it got people who maybe aren't regular people, regular Coop people into these things. So I saw a huge uptick when I moved it to the website. I'm doing a lot now because I'm trying to get rid of swag, but I'm going to have to slow it down again because it will eventually, I think, have the same problem. But yeah,
right,
yeah. I was ordered to get rid of swag. Yeah,
I could definitely use another 6 cigar shirts because I might be running low.
Oh yeah. I lost count. I think it was last year sometime. I didn't have a choice. I had to make a Goodwill run and bring so many T-shirts to Goodwill. And so there's probably people walking around the greater Forest Lake, Minnesota area wearing, shirts from cigar brands that don't exist anymore.
I was going to make that joke. Yeah. We should have all worn a shirt tonight from a cigar brand that's no longer around.
Oh yeah.
I think I might have gotten rid of all of them. I don't have them anymore.
Yep. Thanks.
But one of the things kind of tied in with the whole content thing, and Eric touched on it because, I was a sort of borderline addicted and just all in dojo fan from like 2014.
Oh yeah.
Watching Smoke Night Live and going on the app and so much about what Eric and Jordan and the guys do at Cigar Dojo is, beyond just the media standpoint of, the things I talked about before, whether it's reviews or news, interviews, that kind of thing, is entertainment. And Juan touched on this in the comments, is entertainment. And also the community piece with the Dojoverse and people sharing and learning about different brands and things like that. And, talking a little smack, that's always fun in between the sharing and all that. But from the standpoint for everybody really in cigar media is which aspect do you think of what and even if we're not necessarily a media entity that is sort of built around community like Cigar Dojo is, and fun and all that, but for all of cigar media as a whole, whether it's somebody who's journalistic in nature, whether it's a Instagram influencer, whether it's Cigar Dojo or Developing Palates or Cigar Press or anywhere in between, what aspect of what we do is most effective for expanding and strengthening the cigar culture or the cigar community? And I'll just throw that hat into the middle of the ring, and whoever jumps on it first, please.
I would say that's a great question. I would say that all of these things are important because there's such a wide. There's a lot of people that don't want to do what we do on the Dojoverse. They don't. That's not what they're into cigars for. They just want. Yeah. They go to Coop and they want to read about the news and blah blah blah. They want to read a review on Developing Palates and see how all four of the guys, rated the cigars, or maybe they, want to watch podcasts. How about that cigar? They want to do this. They want to. The whole spectrum of cigar smokers has all these. There's always a place for somebody, and I think that's important. And we try to provide a place for some people, but not everybody likes what we supply, and that's fine too. Like, so I sort of feel like it's the cigar industry as a whole is stronger when there is all these different places, these different sort of comfort areas. I don't want to call them safe spaces because I hate that word.
Thank you.
There are these places that people want to go because that's where they feel comfortable, and that's good. So the more the merrier, in my opinion, because I do think that wide range of different outlets and places to be does.
Yeah.
There isn't like one thing that, this one thing is going to help the cigar industry. It's really a conglomeration of all of these things combined that I think allows people to be where they want to be.
Yeah. I and before I go to that, I like what you said. And I'm in my head, I kind of quickly, likened it to the, if you're in a certain area, a metro area, and there's maybe a 6 or 8 or 10 cigar shops, you're going to have your favorite of those cigar shops.
Yeah.
And maybe most of them carry most of the same brands. There'll be 1 or 2 here and there that you can't get at the other shops, but it's like, that's the shop that I like hanging out at. And it's, somebody whoever does content or shows or shorts or whatever, it's like that people kind of gravitate and they find their sort of, niche or their home, or it's like that's the place where I feel most.
Matt, just to piggyback on what you're saying, this is really interesting point on that is some users like being in a place that is not very popular. They like a new Facebook group, or they like a up and coming cigar media outlet. Like they found this website that does. They kind of we have found that there are certain types of cigar smokers and cigar fans that prefer being in like a smaller group, like this is new. And then other guys, they want to be where there's a ton of people, blah, blah, blah. So like what you're saying is so true. Like, why do they pick that certain shop? Maybe they pick it because there isn't that many people there and they feel a little more comfortable in that shop because it's a little less traffic,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I just want to echo Eric. I couldn't agree more that, I know we get tagged a lot about, we get called sort of, we're an in-group, and it's like, no, I firmly believe that the variety of different contents that is out there that brings in new cigar smokers is amazing. And one of the things that I love seeing on Reddit that gets posted like every 2 months is somebody will say, okay, what podcast do you listen to, or what reviewers do you check out? And then going down and sort of looking and seeing, what are people connecting with? And the answers are all over the place. People have their favorites, and that's great. And even within that, you think about, that doesn't connect to all of the people that are offline that are not, they don't care about online stuff. They don't care about web shows.
Yeah.
They're picking up a cigar magazine. They're going to the local shop and they're having a conversation in that lounge with the magazine, going through the magazine, talking about the different cigars that are in there. And that is a huge portion of the audience that doesn't get talked about because of the fact that they aren't online, but it is an enormous part of the industry. And Coop and I Coop and I are often, we get dragged into this where someone will say, well, magazine content is dead. And we'll say, well, not so much, because, you think it's dead because you're in an echo chamber and you don't realize that guys are carrying magazines into shops as a buying list at Christmas time, and they're doing purchasing based on that magazine. So it's a huge driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What's every shelf talker? It's print media.
That's right. Every shelf talker.
It's print media.
Print media. Print media.
I think one of the things we have to do, I think that you have to redefine what is cigar media. And I think this show is an excellent cross section of different areas on there, but it's not the same as what it was 20 years ago. You have to cast a bigger net to it. I'm not a big fan necessarily of just straight up influencers on Instagram and stuff like that, but I recognize they have their place. I recognize that they attract a certain group of people, that certain people follow them. I think what Dojo did is probably the most epic new thing in the last decade, as far as identifying an area, identifying an audience, creating a place for people to go. But you look at just this panel and you look at what everybody does is very different. I mean, some people are straight report news. Some people are kind of this hybrid of entertainment and news and reviews. And some people are more on the social aspect. And I think you have to look at really as a whole of what we're doing. And for Cigar Press, we're like, look, you don't need another place to advertise. You need an advocate. You need somebody that keeps moving the industry forward. And that's what we try to do. But everybody's different. And you find your audience, as long as you're genuine to what you're saying and genuine to in your communications, I think you find an audience.
Yeah, that's a great point. Coop, what are your thoughts on kind of the growing the community and growing the culture and how that ties into what, does that come into your mind as you're doing the work that you do?
Yeah, there's been a big transformation in the last year on Cigar Coop. And, for a long time, we were playing in the hard news space, review space, primarily, doing the interviews. We were doing, and the hard news space is a very challenging space. We still do well with it, right? And, but there were things I just discovered that were no longer worth the effort to do. And there were things I decided I was going to discontinue. And on a whim one day, I said, when I discontinued, and I'll say it was TAA cigars, on a whim one day, I said, I want to see what a food review would do versus covering a TAA cigar. And it did better as I expected. But what I didn't expect was that was going to grow everything and change everything we were doing on Cigar Coop. Because what happened is those food reviews started to rocket in numbers. It brought a new audience in for the other piece, like cigars, like people who didn't know about Cigar Coop or were much more novice in cigars. I started seeing a lot more influx with the messages I'm getting. You get comments, private messages, those types of things. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow. And then I was like, wow, we're tapping into something here. That led actually earlier this year. I said, I'm going to, because I got a lot of requests for accessories to cover more accessories. I practically had accessories dead on my site. Now I've started that piece and it's generated a lot more interest. So what I've seen is Cigar Coop's more evolving. News will always be a part of it, because I think if I got rid of news, it would kill what I'm doing in cigars. I can't get rid of it, right? As much as I thought about it at times, right? But we had the music show, has a music lifestyle show. Trip and Trennis with the pairing show, and they do that thing. They're doing that thing. The food reviews are once a week. And now I'm seeing Cigar Coop evolve more into much more in the lifestyle space than I ever had done in 15 years. So it's definitely helped expand our reach where, again, you cover some of these stories like distribution agreements. The audience is limited for it. Like I'm not saying I don't want to cover it, right? But the audience is limited. Most of the people who are like these people who have come in could care less about that. So, some of the feedback I'm getting from cigar companies is they love the food content. Now tie it back more to cigars. And that's something I'm going to look at next year, certainly now, see if we could tie some more things back with cigars on things. So I think it's been a big transformation for me in the last year, for sure. And it's been very positive that we still don't have a community piece like Eric's got. That's the one piece I think that's lacking on Coop. It's a very hard to build a community. You have to know what the hell you're doing with that. So I don't know if I know what I'm doing with that. So, but Eric obviously has set up one of the best communities out there, a very positive community. It's a growing community. It's around over a decade now. So, I'll refer people to the dojo, in that case. And I think Eric gives me enough press and has me on enough where, certainly people can check out our stuff. So, I'm not getting into the community spaces.
I have a question. At what point do you feel that people follow tone and personality before they follow topics? Because I believe that people follow me for my take on a review, my take on a top 20, my take on an accessory, my take on something stupid. I feel that people follow that and a personality and tone, and it doesn't matter what I write about as long as it's genuine, as long as it's applicable.
Yeah, I think that's
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I agree with 100%.
that. Because I think like a lot of us, whether we want to admit it or not, are older. And the reality is, as the demographic, I'm sorry, but it's true. Look at the beard. We were just talking about this in the green room.
Whore mouth.
So, as the demographics have shifted, the younger generations, and by younger I mean 30 and under, have really sort of taken on this thing of they want to connect to people. And I know we had this conversation a decade ago talking to cigar manufacturers, and they're like, well, we don't really want to have a principal. We don't really want to have a figurehead for the cigar company. And I think even 10 years ago, we saw this trend coming where, look, people want a connection. They want to connect to a brand.
100%.
They want to connect to an individual. And the worst thing you can do is have this sort of nameless, faceless brand that no one can connect to. And Fred hit the nail on the head. Fred could go on and talk about silly candy that comes out at Christmas time, but for his audience that connects to Fred, they're going to be engaged and they're going to be, absolutely all over that. And the same is true with Dojo. That's what Eric is so great at, is that is building the community. Yeah. And maybe people are tuning in for Jordan, and maybe people are tuning in for Robbie, or maybe they're tuning in for
Randy.
Randy's reads. I know they're tuning in for Randy's reads.
Maybe not Randy, but the rest of us.
I don't know. Randy's reads.
I love Randy.
Yeah.
I love Randy.
and I think that is truly where the future of the industry is headed. And we've seen that trend for a very long time now. And that trend is not going to slow down. That trend is going to increase, that people want that. They want to feel that connection. They do.
Yeah. And I feel like that it kind of once again ties into what Eric was talking about before, and this builds kind of on the same vibe, is that there's cigar shows out there, and there's so many that do, and I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen a lot of them, and there are some that I gravitate towards myself. And I try to listen. I used to listen to all of them, and there's just not time anymore to listen to all of them. But there's some that I gravitate towards, and I even join in the comments because they have a sensibility and an attitude and a vibe on their show that I like to hang out with and I like to interact with. And the same is true with local cigar shops. They're going to have if you travel to, I don't know, Nashville, I'll just take a city out of the thin air, Nashville, from time to time. And, you happen to travel there for work 3 times a year. And after a few trips, you realize, okay, this is the cigar shop in Nashville that I want to hang out at. And consumers find the same thing with with cigar content creators. They're like, this is the vibe that I can relate to. These are people that I would want to sit down and have a cigar and a beer with, or a cigar and a glass of whiskey with, or just talk about life while we're sharing a cigar. And one of our viewers commented earlier, Eric, about, part of it is interaction with people's comments. And I know that it's, especially when the viewership gets really high live, it's impossible to pop every comment up on screen. But that does, and I say this myself, as like early back in the day, watching Stogie Geeks and watching Cigar Dojo Smoke Night Live back in the earliest days, and watching Cigar Federation, and when you make a comment on the show and you see it pop up on screen, or you hear somebody mention it, that meant a lot to me, that, oh, somebody thinks. And so but it's difficult, like I said, because there's rarely enough time to put every single comment up on screen and sort of interact with that comment. But for the viewers, it does make a difference that they know that, because if I'm out there watching somebody's content and I know that they're hearing what I'm saying, it's just like if somebody likes your post on Facebook. It's all about dopamine, and it's a real thing. And I don't think, there's necessarily anything wrong with that, because we're all just trying to fit in and do the best, just do the best we can for the community that we're a part of. Yep. And some people are part of the cigar community. Some people are part of, there's people that are into cars and motorcycles and bourbons and guns and painting and macrame and whatever hobbies are out there. But if we're interacting with certain communities or certain lifestyles out there in the world, we want to feel like we are a part of that community that we're interacting with. Yeah. If we're not able to do it live, which obviously doing it, in person, whether it's at a cigar shop or whether we get together at PCA or something like that, those are the interactions that, for personal, I'm just saying this for me, those are the interactions that mean the most to me. The times that early in the morning before PCA starts up, Fred and I sit and, have a cigar and a coffee. Or sitting with
6 a.m. crew, baby.
Yeah, or sitting with with Surgeon and Steve Saka until 5 a.m. talking about tobacco leaves, or sitting in Nicaragua with Eric and Jordan, talking about our kids and our families, or sitting with Coop and Dave Burke here in Minnesota when they were up here, and kind of similar, talking about our families, our kids, our life experiences and stuff like that, and sitting with Raul and Justin, talking about all this. For me, those are the most meaningful, the ones that are in person. But sometimes you can't always do that, and doing it virtual is the next best thing. And I love, getting those chances to interact, even with, people who just type in a comment, and, I can learn something from somebody who types in a comment, or we can, gain some appreciation for a particular thing from a comment that somebody types in. So, there's, I don't know, I feel like there's some connection pieces that happen through all of it. Even the top 25 lists, or the top 10 lists that people come out with, at the end of the year. And there's, it's great because there's always going to be shades of agreement and shades of disagreement. And that's regardless of whether it's print media or online media doing those lists, and getting those conversations going, I think is good for the world of cigars, because maybe, just maybe, there's going to be somebody watching a cigar show on YouTube for the first time in their life, and they're just getting into the hobby, and they're going to hear about a cigar that they've never heard about before, and they're going to go to a local cigar shop and ask for it.
I mean, is there any better feeling of taking someone who is a casual cigar guy or girl and supporting them and sort of building them up and giving them the knowledge to sort of go out there and explore and watching them turn into a super fan. Like that to me is so great to see. And I've seen it where, you know, people start out just, they're like, I don't know where to go. And you give them some direction and they come back and they turn into a complete fiend. And it's like,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, that's pretty good. I don't know if you've had sex, but yes, that is also pretty good.
Well, not in a while because I'm old, Fred. I don't want to throw my back out. So,
Oh, that's fantastic.
got to stretch a lot these days.
We're not broadcasting, are we? I'm just.
This isn't live, right? This is pre-recorded. You can cut that out.
Before we go on, Coop, I just got to ask you which one of these should I smoke? These are the big paybacks. I know you like big ring gauges, so I brought these.
Oh,
in Coop fashion here. Which one should I go with here?
Go with the and I forget what the exact name is. Go with the dark one, the purple one. The other one. Yep, that one.
Yeah. All right. Yep. We're doing this.
big ring gauges have feelings too.
Yep.
Gordos or Vitolas too. I tell everyone.
That's what it is. Gordos or Vitolas too.
Yeah.
I love it. Not to me, but to some. It's no. It's no. Every cigar has its place. Every cigar has its place. So, and this one is this next question is kind of related to, you know, cigar. How about that cigar? And, you know, the not so recent, I guess, news about us choosing to, you know, call it a day.
Bullshit. Go ahead.
But, and this, I suppose it kind of could tie into any product category, whether it's a cigar shop or a brand of beer or whiskey or you know, your favorite podcast or whatever it may be. But why do, and specifically the way I wrote the question is, why does a media organization thrive? And why does a media what causes a media organization to thrive? And then conversely, what causes a media organization to shut down? And I know the answers are as varied as the stars in the sky, but regardless, who wants to jump in first on that?
Well,
I'll take. Go ahead, John.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I feel like I've been on both ends of the spectrum because I was on one of the bigger cigar sites that, you know, rose up and then just fell away. And so I feel like I can speak to this. I think for me, in a word, it's just authenticity. And I think that the brands that continue to do very well are brands that are true to their nature. They don't try to be something they're not. You know, they lean into who they are instead of trying to play a part or clown it up in a sense of try to be somebody else. And so, like, I'm going to throw Tim Daly as a great example of, like, people love Tim.
Yeah.
And people love Tim because Tim is just being himself, and people have connected to that. And I think that, you know, like, people certainly rag on Charlie at Half Wheel, but there's a lot of people that really appreciate Charlie for what he does because Charlie does what he does in an authentic way. Coop, you're absolutely the same way. You're always going to be you, and I love you for that. And, you know, I think that is what will make a brand and continue to build a brand. And I think if you get away from that, you know, and you try to do something that you're not, that's where the brand starts to fall apart. And, you know, it's one of those things of audiences can be so fickle. You know, it takes forever to, Eric knows this better than anybody. It takes so much hard work to build up that audience, and you can blow all that goodwill in an instant. And it's, so it's tricky.
That's a great point. Fred, you had some.
I partially what John said as far as authenticity, but I think also, look, you have to realize when you have that influence that you are not your audience. So your audience is asking for certain things. Your audience wants to see more of certain things, and sometimes, you know, whether it's media or manufacturers or anybody in any role in any industry, you get on this high horse of thinking this is what they should have, this is what they need to know, and it's not what they want to know, and it's not what they want to engage with. And so sometimes I see people that look, if you want to do something for yourself, do it for yourself. That's fine. But if you want to grow, and you may or may not find your audience, but if you want to grow and you have a certain sphere of audience, you have to listen to what they want. And it's not necessarily what you want to give them, as far as like you want to teach them or you want to learn them these things or whatever. And I don't even know if that's a proper English phrase. But I mean, I think you have to be open to constantly evolving in a way that you don't give up your values, in a way you don't give up your authenticity, but you have to embrace the things that show traction. And I had a friend a long time ago, at some point, it's like, at some point you just got to get another horse. You got to reinvent yourself. You got to go, look, what am I, and double down on that. And as long as it's in your sphere of what you're comfortable with and you're authentic about, then you go, okay, I'm going to try this. You have to try new things. But I think some people are trying to teach people or teach them a lesson or learn or show how smart they are. And that may not be what the audience wants. So I think you have to be open to listening to that point.
Well said.
I think it's pretty obvious. The key is dashingly good looks.
Mm.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, that's really the key.
I'm out. I'm out.
That's why. How about that cigar?
Not with that beard, John. You're not. Look, your followers just went up with that beard.
I mean, I oil it every day, and it's just not enough. It's just not enough.
No, but in all seriousness, I think a big thing, guys, honestly, it really is just like determination. And do you really want to do this? And like, how many media outlets do we see come in and out of the cigar industry? Like within the first couple years, like there's a media outlet that comes on and they boom, everybody, or it's a Facebook group and everybody's like,
we're all
like
about the disruption.
This is it. This is going to be the thing.
We're going to recreate the cigar lounge.
Right. Yeah. And in a year and a half, they're gone. Right. So it's that.
Yeah.
Can you maintain the excitement level for yourself to continue to, innovate your own platform and still find pleasure in it and wake up every day and still want to do it? And I don't even, obviously it's sad to see outlets go away, especially this one, which is a bummer for me. But at the same time, life happens, right? Like this, this is all part of life. And there's sometimes, you have to weigh things like, oh, like I really can't do this anymore. I don't have the time or whatever. And so that obviously plays a part. And so I think, really that internal determination to go on and say like, oh, I'm somehow or another, I'm going to make this work. I mean, I can't even imagine, 2012 thinking that it would be almost 2026 and we're, approaching our 15th year in a year and a half or whatever. So
yeah.
It's just your personal determination to persevere no matter what you're doing, whether it's cigar related stuff or maybe you have a roofing company, whatever it is, like you have to just continually persevere and want to make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
and don't you also have to like realize what you're really shitty at, like what you're dropping the ball on, and go, look, either I got to get better at this, or I got to partner with somebody, or I got to hire somebody that can do that because I'm not good at this. And ignoring it won't help you. Won't help you grow.
Yeah.
Raul?
Well,
let Coop finish.
Yeah, Coop hasn't jumped in on this question. And Coop.
Well, Rahul hasn't jumped in on anything yet.
No,
he's on his 16th non-alcoholic beer because
he's hammered. He's had a full beer at this point.
Coop specifically has, Coop, you even wrote an article kind of about, your concerns about the future of cigar media. And, I specifically wanted to get your take on kind of this as far as, your thoughts about what breeds longevity and what are some of the causes you can think of that would cause an outlet to shut down?
Yeah, the article was kind of interesting because I timed it with obviously you guys making the announcement, but it was a longer project I was working on, and it was a SWOT analysis I had done on Coop, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And actually, that article was focused on the threats piece. And I basically just identified the threats. Then there were just a bunch of people that just took it as I was complaining and whining, which if you read the article, the folks who did, I could quote the article where I even said these threats are a part of what we do in Cigar Media. So most people completely distorted the article, but it's my fault because I didn't word that a certain way. So I take responsibility for that. So I have to be fair. I have to take that criticism. But everything with thriving or shutting, like successful, it's all tied to time and materials. Every one of them every reason will tie back to time and or materials. You either don't have the time, it's not worth the time. You don't have the resources to continue to grow it to how you want to do it. And ultimately, that's what happens. The ones who thrive put the time and materials in and can do it. The ones that can't usually have to have more of a struggle with that. And I'm not trying to pin anything on how about that cigar, but I would bet there were time and material, both things that were factored into that. I would say every one of these scenarios, the people who aren't established media people, I'm not putting them in that category though. Because I see people get in and then they get their feelings hurt by something and then they get out, right? I'm not talking about that type of stuff. It's when your brand starts to get traction, the time and materials piece ultimately is a day of reckoning that you're going to have to face, and how much more time and materials you're going to put in.
Yeah,
it's simple as that.
I recognize that completely, and I agree. And those are some of the dozens of factors that went into
I would bet it wasn't one reason. Like, and you haven't talked, but I would bet it was a multiple.
It never is really for anybody.
But I guarantee there were time and materials issues that played into
100%, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, without question.
Yeah.
Well, I think Coop, I think you have an excellent point, though. I mean, in the speed now of which content has to be thrown out there, the speed at which people are consuming content, I think it's unprecedented. I don't know that you could be a single entrepreneur, single person trying to cover media and do it yourself. I just don't think you could generate enough content. That's why
I had to bring other partners in with me to do other types of shows and things like that would help. I talked about that whole Choice 5 thing, okay? The bottom line is that's the world we're living in today. And that was written very clearly in the article. Cigar media is changing. Like getting news now, there are these other sources you're going to be able to get it for, right? But even doing those Choice 5 things affect show guests. They affect a lot of different things. And I was very clear. The one thing I did write in the article, but it was further down, I think that's where it got lost, is that's the world we have to live in. And we have to decide, and basically you have to pivot certain ways, how much time and materials you're going to put into that, when now it's the landscape has changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
Raul, what do you think?
There you go.
Nice. Well played.
Thank you. The reason why I'm so quiet is I don't mean to dog you guys' balls. We got some of the best guys in media here, right? And Matt pretty much set these questions up, if I feel, so I can learn what I'm going to do next year on my podcast. And I'm just learning and taking all this in and listening to you guys, your comments and your opinions, and just taking it in and enjoying this fucking wonderful cigar. And that's it. I'm just relaxing and learning.
Okay. And honestly, that's one of the and that's actually brings up a question I didn't even have on my list, but I'm curious for all you guys, because all of us have interviewed people from the cigar industry, whether it was on a show or whether it was just having a conversation with them at a trade show or something like that. And and we've all learned so much from each other. We've all learned so much from people that we've interviewed. So I guess, how do you try to gather as much information as possible beforehand? And then how do you take that in as you're being given that information by somebody in an interview or a conversation about, ways that, and I'll say for me personally, what can I learn from this? What can I use to shift and alter, things that I'm doing that maybe I'm too dug into that I need to, it's like calling different plays in the second half. How do I learn from this person in this moment to be better the next time.
I think Fred said it earlier. You have to evolve. You have to learn how to evolve. You have to take all this shit in and figure out what's going to work for you and your personality, and keeping you honest to yourself.
Yeah.
And keep evolving.
You know, I went through this yesterday, and I learned from a lot of people on this panel when I did the Marlon Wayans interview yesterday.
Which was incredible, by the way.
Thank you very much. I was told basically when I had that opportunity last minute, don't ask him the same questions. So what's the first thing I went to? I went back and went to Fred's Be the Line. That was the first thing I had to do, right?
100%, yes.
I had to go the first thing to Be the Line, right? Because that was very key. I went back to Bear because Bear has a way of asking questions. I said,
"Thank you."
And I couldn't use Bear. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring a remote person in for this. How does Bear kind of bring out the human side of things, right? John, I had to make sure the sound was so good, right? And I'm not kidding. I basically had the store bring in a sound person to do this, right? Because I was so worried this wasn't going to come off, right? Matt, the professionalism, okay, thinking of the consumer, like thinking of people in the audience. I had to ask those questions, right? So that's something I learned from How About That Cigar, where I did that. And Eric, the same thing. Eric, the community, to have fun, maybe not take myself so seriously in that interview. I incorporate a lot of things in that because that was an out of the box interview that I did that I never really did an interview like that before. But if I was able to draw on the people I knew, and there's other people I'm not mentioning either. I know there's a long list. I'm telling you, that would have been a disaster yesterday. I was lucky it wasn't a disaster. I thought it was okay. I mean, people liked it. So, I really had to draw from a lot of people. That was not what I normally do. That's not what I normally do in an interview, as people know.
Yeah, I think, and I just want to say that I think Fred and Bear, for me, I call myself a veteran of the industry now. There's a lot of interviews out there. So, whether you're interviewing Jorge Padron or you're interviewing, whoever from the cigar industry, they've done hundreds of interviews. And we're at the point where you can't just have the same interview again because it's been done to death. Yeah. Rapid binder filler conversation.
Yep.
It's done to death. And what Fred and Bear do so brilliantly is they just seem to have this casual conversation and just sort of let the interviewee take that conversation in the direction it's going to go. And that's difficult because you don't know where they're going to take that conversation. So you really have to be prepared. And I mean, it's a scary territory when they start to go into a territory and you're like, I didn't take notes on this. But that I think is what the audience will absolutely love.
Yeah. It was like I said, I got to give Eric and Matt a lot of credit too, because again, they have points of view. Like Matt's, How About This Guy was built on the consumer point of view. That's 100%. The foundation of that, and that was very important. If I would have talked about rapid binder filler distribution agreements yesterday, I would have lost the audience. I probably would have went in there with that. To be honest with you,
you would have lost Marlon too.
I would have lost Marlon too, and that's why I was glad when his people coached me right up front, saying, "This is what we know what you do. We know you can do this because we like your content, but this is what we need you to do."
Yeah,
and I was. By the way, I was terrified on Thanksgiving, like what I was going to do with this.
and you're interviewing a guy who is a bit of a legend in television. Yep. I mean, he's a comedian, he's an actor, he's a personality. So it's a bit daunting when you're interviewing a guy at that level.
Yeah.
Because, how do you tease out his personality in the conversation, but also, get the information that people want to hear and again, not make it seem like it's scripted and not make it seem like it's, canned, which is so hard.
Oh,
so
I think for me, and thank you for the comments, by the way. It depends which side of the mic you're on. And so I think you go in prepared. I think, Matt, you are absolutely incredible in having, every time I've been on your show, you have a lineup of questions and it's going to go according to, you've got the questions, but I look at two sides of the mic. If I am interviewing somebody, which I'm learning, because from Final Puff on, that was the first time I actually interviewed anybody, and there's people much better than me, but I'm like, I'm just going back to Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson was incredibly funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
But at the moment he's interviewing somebody, it's all about them. When I did Final Puff, I never talked about the fact that I made a cigar. I am nothing compared to them. My job is to make the guests look as good as possible and get them to share stories. And yes, I have a lineup of questions. Yes, I have a place to guide it if I get somebody that's not going somewhere. Otherwise, let them run. I think Carlito Fuentes said that the interview I did with him was one of the best interviews he's ever done in his life. He talked for 99% of the interview, and I got in a question once in a while because I let him go on whatever journey he wanted. If I'm on the other side of the mic as a guest, I know my value is to have fun, to be authentic, to be entertaining wherever possible, and that's it. And that's really what it comes down to. And if you can, John pointed out very well, because it's very scary to go out there without a net. Have some questions, have whatever, but let the guests go where they're going to go. And the research you do beforehand, coming up with questions. I just did one with John Huber a little while ago on the podcast, and I'm like, come up with questions that are not going to be the everyday question that you get, and let them go into someplace else. One question I got recently that I've used on a couple podcasts is, tell me something you've done lately that is not cigar related that made you really happy or you enjoyed. And that is an open-end, if you can ask open-ended questions, not leading questions that force them into the answer of wrapper, binder, filler, or tobacco barn, or processes. An open-ended question that can go anywhere, and you don't know where it's going to go. But if you can do that, that's when you get the gems. That's when you get the really cool stuff that is like, hey, they never said that before.
Yeah. Well, and Eric, for you, I've seen the evolution of Smoke Night Live over the years, and you guys have, and even going beyond evolution into, going into Flavor Odyssey and showing different sides, whether it's interviewing somebody from the cigar industry or doing a fun bracket challenge show or doing a cigar stock market or doing a pairing show on Wednesday night. You guys and the whole team at Cigar Dojo have had such a creative flash that is, and usually a flash is short-lived, but you guys have maintained that creativity through the years. Jordan's creativity in creating new ways to show the content on your shows, and the stuff that Randy and Robbie do and that you do has been incredible. So how have you guys seen that evolution as far as just finding unique, different content and new ways to get information to cigar consumers?
Yeah, I mean, I think Fred kind of hit on it pretty well, what he just said, because what we try to do is we dedicate the first portion of the show to the guest. Hey, what do you got coming on? What's new? Your new cigar, your new release, whatever, and kind of go through that. But then the second half of the show, it's usually something that is not cigar related at all, and those types of things I think are some of the more fun, aspects of the show when you're talking about something that is not cigar related. And with those, here's my strategy, boys. This is how I do it. I know the guest is going to be whoever, right? Whatever this guest. And then I wait until I'm sleeping. And then at about 3 a.m., a random night during the week, I will come up with the idea in my head while I'm sleeping. Hey, you know what? Let's talk about X on the second half of the show. So hopefully it's something that is not cigar related and something totally unique, whether it's like we did with Fred, that would I buy this or not buy this, that kind of stuff. Like I want to do what Fred said in that I want to get out of, I've seen every single friggin' episode in the world where a guy gets interviewed and he's talking about his cigars. And you got to kind of cover that a little bit because they're taking the time on a Friday night to join you, right? You got to at least let them speak their piece about what they might have going on. But then after that, I like the second half of the show where we're just talking about some sort of random thing. And one last comment on this whole thing is I've had guys ask me, hey, I'm doing this podcast. Do you have any advice? You guys have been doing it for so long. Like, what's your advice? And my advice is always this one thing, which is you feel like the guest is doing you a favor by coming on, and they are doing you a favor, but you have to keep it in your mind that you're also doing them a favor. Like they are also benefiting from this. And so it's good to have that mindset to, hey, they are also wanting to be on this show. And that can make you feel a little bit more comfortable when you're interviewing some people. Because I get nervous too. Have a certain guest. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to say to this guy? But let you understand in your mind, hey, you know what? He's wanting to be on this show also. It's also something that he really wants to do as well. And that can sometimes ease your nerves and that kind of thing. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
Well, and and thank you to you, Eric. You shared those exact thoughts with me in the 3 or 4 months before How About That Cigar launched, when I was getting everything kind of ready behind the scenes. And you were so gracious, and many other people, Coop included, were so gracious to give ideas and pointers and tips and tricks. And yeah, Eric, you shared that exact same thing with me. It's don't be afraid to recognize the fact that you are publicizing their brand, and right. you are a platform for them to let consumers know about their brand. And
that's a good point.
And one of the other things that I wanted to talk about.
Wait, can I interrupt for 1 second? I'm sorry.
Please do. Yeah.
I'd like to hear what John has to say about this, because John, to me, is one of those people in the room that doesn't say much, but every time he talks, he's got he's even more analytical than me, and I never thought I would say that. But I would like to hear your take on that a little bit.
Yes.
If I could.
I think my advice to Matt was, for the love of God, don't get into cigar media. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's a terrible idea.
I would have to go back.
Do it well, but good Lord, don't do that.
Oh my!
Two things you don't do: don't start your own cigar brand. Don't get into cigar media. Good Lord, man.
Back through my text messages, but I think that might be word for word exactly what
it might be.
You were like, don't do it. It's just like when somebody goes to Eric. When somebody goes to Eric Espinosa and says, "Hey, I want to start a cigar brand," Eric Espinosa says, "Don't do it."
Yeah.
Don't do it.
John doesn't talk much, but when he does, it's gold. It's gold.
Yeah, I think the advice. So one of the things I started, and I don't talk about this very much, but I started with Robbie cigar pairing in a space that had never been done before.
Yeah,
and we had no fence, we had no guidelines, we had no one to turn to for advice. We just had to kind of figure it out. And so my advice for even not cigar related podcasters is you just have to put both feet in. And unfortunately, the first 10 episodes roughly, they're not going to be good. They're just not going to be good, because that's the point where you're figuring out your voice, you're figuring out your cadence, you're figuring out what you're comfortable with, what you need to work on. You're listening to yourself for hundreds of hours going, good Lord, do I really sound like that? That's terrible. I should never be on a podcast ever again. And you need to sort of move past that. And once you get your voice, and it's somewhere between episode 10 and episode 15, and you really start to get into the swing of it, and you get into the routine. And Coop and I joke all the time of we could hop on a show now with 5 minutes notice. And that's not because we're really good. It's because we've got 1,000 reps at this, and unfortunately, you can't shortcut the 1,000 reps. You just have to do one rep at a time until you get to 1,000 reps. But it does get a lot more comfortable. Somewhere around 10 to 15, you go, okay, maybe I do know what I'm doing. Maybe I am good at this, and you just sort of build on that, and you don't get too much into your own headspace. You try not to listen to yourself too much, because it will drive you crazy, but you have to at the same time.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
John, don't you also know? I'm going to call something out that nobody knows about except John. You also have to know when to cut bait. So I've been asked to be on a lot. I've been asked to be on a lot of podcasts and partner and start a podcast. And my thought always is, regardless of whether it's cigar related or some other things that I'm into, what's going to happen in 6 months? What am I? Is this a show that will last 6 months, a year? Because why start a podcast? There's going to be 12 episodes, and so John and I and Robbie had the idea of doing a podcast together, and we did like 4 episodes, 5 episodes. We never released them, and we just realized, I have them somewhere, but we never released them because we just we got to the end of the 4 or 5, and we were having a lot of fun, and we kind of had some format. But we were like, we just didn't see the traction to be long term. It wasn't going to get. It wasn't new. It wasn't enough value in the industry, so we just dropped it. So you have to know when to cut bait on something. Try it. Try to make it work. But if it's not working, let it go and go get behind something else.
Yeah.
The lost episodes. We're gonna have to release them. I have no idea what they were. I mean, we have to find out. I gotta go back and look at those episodes.
Dig through your Google Drive. I'm sure
the lost episodes.
Well,
but cut bait. Know when to cut bait.
One of the things I want to touch on as well is, I guess what I would call the unsung heroes of cigar media, and I'm talking about Justy Smoke. I'm talking about Jordan. I'm talking about the people, and all of us have people behind the scenes. It could be our spouse. It could be somebody who just supports us and helps us to manage the things behind the scenes that make the shows look and feel and sound professional, and see the things that we miss. And Justin is one of those people. And Eric, and I know for you, Jordan is one of those. And Jordan's not just a behind the scenes guy. He's co-host, he's producer, there's so many hats that he wears in the world of cigar media. But I want to hear a little bit from Justin when it comes to kind of the behind the scenes, things, and also just hear from all of you about any of the people and all of the people kind of behind the scenes that support the things that, make your cigar media into what it is. And Justy, I want to start with you as far as just, what you look for, the things you see that Raul and I miss, and kind of that producer's mindset of keeping things on the rails and so on and so forth.
I mean, how are we going to keep things on the rails on this show?
Yeah, this show's a different a different animal altogether. Panel shows are a different breed. But like when we have a guest on, or especially when we do something remote where we bring all the gear to another location and get everything set up, like Cigars and Baseball, or if we go to another cigar lounge or something like that, or even all the stuff you did at all the trade show coverage and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's been a fun ride, but it's just doing it all the time and showing up and then keeping up with the social media and just doing all the little things in the background. Like you said, just to keep the show moving and setting up for things. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that, we just got to do to keep the show moving all the time. But yeah, just overall, I've had fun with it. I've learned a lot over the last couple of years that I've been doing this, 4 or 5 years now. And yeah, it's going to go on to after How About That Cigar. There'll be other things, I'm sure, that, take all this knowledge and use it for everything else. But to keep you guys on track sometimes, sometimes we go off the rails and, advertisements or whatever. And, I'm here in the background just to keep things on track sometimes and just make everybody look pretty. So, yeah.
Hey, Matt, check the audio. Hey, Matt, you forgot that ad read. And it's constantly just like keeping me on my toes. But I want to know from you guys as well, anybody behind the scenes, how do they keep you focused and keep you on task and things like that? Coop, I want to start with you.
I have 2 people actually on the team that are the unsung heroes. The first one is my wife.
Yeah.
Who a few years ago assumed the editorial and proofreading on Coop solely, and it was. Let me put it this: when I bypass her, John will message me. He will, and every time he's messaged me, it's because I bypassed her because she does have limited time as well. She does a lot of volunteer. My wife does volunteer work like basically all the time, so she's volunteers for Coop as well. So yeah, that's a big part. But she also manages the business end of things of Coop. It's the banking, the invoicing. She won't chase down late payers. I have to do that, right? But she does that piece.
Late payers? That happens? That never happens.
Never happens.
Late payers.
What? Late? No. Everything's paid on time. 30 days, no problem.
Organizing the PCA schedule.
Okay.
Things like that. She has done and has done this all behind the scenes. Okay. If I had to do all that, it would be a disaster. Okay. And I'm very gracious that, like I said, we publish every day, and she's doing content almost every day, for that. So it is a huge, thing. The other person I want to really kind of give a shout out to is Aaron Nielsen. Now, Aaron Nielsen doesn't have a show or anything on Coop, but I wanted him a part of the team because I like the professionalism he brings. He brings a very raw and honest take on things, not afraid to speak his mind on things. And I'm able to use him as the utility guy for a lot of different things. Whether we need to plug in a panelist, whether the guest co-host, working with us at PCA, doing some of the roundtable stuff we do. Aaron has done a fantastic job with that. And I basically said to Aaron, whatever you want to do on Coop is fine with me. I want you a part of this team. So it was very important to have someone like that who, again, very flexible. I can call up on a short notice or something to do something. And at the same time, I said, whatever you want, if you want to do more or less, it's up to you, is basically what I said. But that is a very valuable thing that we've been able to bring. And he's fit in really well with the team on top of that. So, like I said, he's been a great person to have on board. As all the, we've been very blessed. Our whole Coop team, we haven't lost anybody. Okay. Yeah. I keep saying that. Yeah, I'm gonna jinx myself at some point, but there's a reason we have a very strong team dynamic here. We don't bring anyone in unless we have a unanimous vote, things like that. Yeah. So it's very, very key. So yeah, those two I got to say are really the behind the scenes people that you don't realize how much they put in.
Yeah. And Surgeon, for you, I mean, I know developing pallets, with Aaron and June and Seth and yourself, and I would imagine there's others that, even if they support you only with their well wishes and their sort of moral support, but how do you guys kind of get support from outside factors?
No, it's all me. I'm doing all of it. No, not remotely. And first of all, and this, I know this is a bit of an Oscar moment, but I absolutely have to thank my wife, because I would literally not be sitting here today on this show if it wasn't for me having a incredibly supportive wife who was 100% behind the idea of me building a home cigar lounge when we moved from our condo to the home. For those who, have followed me many years and watched me suffer smoking in minus 25 degree weather.
Brother. Yes.
I mean, it literally got to a point where I said, I don't know that I can do this anymore. I can't sit out, 100 days a year for 2+ hours in sub-zero weather. And so literally without that, I would not be here today. I would have packed it up 5-6 years ago.
On the foot by 6 foot terrace.
Oh yeah. With smoke coming into the house, with a partner who hates cigar smoke. Yeah. My neighbors complaining about cigar smoke, endless nonsense. But absolutely kudos to Aaron, because, he was, so for those who aren't aware, Aaron talked to me for like a year before I came on to developing pallets, and we'd known each other for a while. But Aaron is kind of the glue that keeps everything going behind the scenes. He's a very analytical guy, and he's a very organized guy. And so he does quietly all of the heavy lifting of finding the cigars, figuring out what sites are available from, finding enough cigars to actually make an order, because some places won't ship. They might only have 8 cigars that are, on the list for that year for new reviews. And a lot of places won't ship 8 cigars. So he is, it's the thankless task of all of that behind the scenes stuff that makes it possible. So, you know, without him, there would be no developing palates. And here's one to the group. A supportive peer group is super, super critical. And I cannot tell you the number of times Coop and I have had long private conversations where either Coop has talked me off of a ledge or I've talked Coop off of a ledge.
Yep.
You know, Matt and I have had numerous conversations over the years.
Yeah.
People in the industry who I would consider friend, like Mike Shapankevich from Postania, Hector Alfonso from Espinoza. Like, we have, I would say at this point, daily conversations about, you know, day-to-day stuff, but we also have daily conversations about what's going on, you know, with cigar related stuff. And those conversations are what's key to keeping me sane and keeping me grounded. I mean, actually, the funny thing is, so Fred, we were talking about podcasts. So I had I called up Charlie. We were having a phone conversation like a couple weeks ago, and the phone conversation was supposed to be 10 minutes and it ended up being 2 hours. And it ended up being like this like cigar aficionado level interview where we were just going back and forth. And I was like, God, I should have recorded that, because that would have been the most incredible podcast that would have gotten me kicked out of the industry. But it was just one of those moments of like, he needed to vent and I needed to vent. And we just unloaded like 10 months of pent up frustrations and challenges. So I think, you know, without that, I just, you know, I think you need that peer group supporting you and keeping you grounded and keeping you sane, and also telling you when maybe something you've said has gone too far, or maybe you haven't gone far enough. There's been times where it's like, no, I think you need to pull the gloves off and say what you need to say. So it is helpful to have that peer group to support you through that.
Yeah, definitely. And Fred, I want to go to you next, because again, you know, coming into just over a year after, you know, taking on the reins of Cigar Press and you know, kind of wearing a new hat for you in this world of premium cigars. You know, what have some of the support systems been for you behind the scenes of, you know, from Thor and others, you know, just getting things rolling in with some of the new and different things you wanted to accomplish with Cigar Press?
Well, I mean, anybody around me that can handle 225 pounds of Asperger's and OCD simultaneously gets credit for me. It is what it is. Obviously, my wife, obviously supportive from the beginning in 2011 when I started to get in the cigar industry a bit. Thor's been great. I don't do partnership well. That's just one of those things. Part of it's controlling, part of it's just the way I am. Thor's great. I've learned I've learned early on before Thor, just, you know, you have to create separate areas of responsibility, and that makes it easier. My daughter's great because I'll do a post and then she'll go look at the post and go, Dad, you didn't do this or that or whatever. I tend to operate at a 30,000 foot level and have a lot of ideas, but execution becomes a challenge. I use a lot of spreadsheets and a lot of stuff to keep me organized. But yeah, all the people around me that I think help with that, allow me to be me and the freedom to be me. I think that helps, but it takes people behind me to keep me grounded and focused, I think is one thing.
Yeah. All right, Sensei, I know that you have an incredible support system, both from the team members of Cigar Dojo and family and things like that. So, you know, talk us through how, you know, from the time that Cigar Dojo started to now, how has that support developed and guided you along the way?
Well, yeah, I mean, we got a lot of great, you know, Juan has been really helpful lately, keeping me jazzed and invigorated. And of course, Robbie and Randy are fun to hang out with on Wednesday nights, and Scotty here in the studio, and Matt is here every single, you know, podcast in the studio audience, which is great. But let me tell you, Jordan, he's going to heaven. I can guarantee you he is absolutely going to heaven, because I will tell Jordan on Thursday, Jordan, on tomorrow night's show, I have these 30 graphics we need. we need a graphic of a meteor that goes like beep 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 beep, and we need some sound effects that go like this. And he's just looking at me like, are you kidding me? Like, it's Thursday. Like, how am I gonna do all that? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's gonna be a fun show. And then somehow or another, he figures out how to make it happen. And so literally, Jordan is the driving factor. Like, he's amazing, and there would be no Cigar Dojo or Dojo Verse or any of the podcasts or anything without him. He's 100% a hard worker, and he just loves doing it. And so without Jordan, you know, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably be I'd probably be a greeter at Walmart.
And Jordan is beyond that. I mean, all the technical and organizational stuff that Jordan does. Jordan is also, for anybody who hasn't had a chance to just sit and have a conversation with Jordan, Jordan is a fantastic guy. He's a great human being, and he's a touch introverted. But
Yeah.
when you get Jordan talking about things that he cares about and things that he is interested in, he's just an absolutely great dude to have a conversation with.
Extroverted introvert.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So shout all producers go to heaven. All
I need a producer.
Yeah, I do too. I actually do too.
What's Jordan doing? How much are you paying him?
All right. So one of the next pieces, and this has evolved actually, as from the early days. I mean, even before, you know what? Because I was a casual cigar smoker from the mid '90s, but then I started to get just really heavy into it in, I don't know, 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. And then I found, you know, outlets like Stogie Geeks and Cigar Federation and then Cigar Dojo. And I was able to learn so much along the way. But as we have all of us have seen this over the last number of years, where media in general, I'm talking about all media, whether it's mainstream media or social media, there's a tendency for people to choose sides, and media mostly follows this because a dogmatic stance, and this is my take, media mostly follows this because a dogmatic stance gets way more clicks than a pragmatic stance. Now, is it possible, or is it even necessary, to lean towards pragmatism and dogmatism, basically in a nutshell for viewers and listeners? Dogmatism is, this is my side and I'm on it no matter what. And pragmatism is more, I'm going to listen to both sides, and I might agree with some of side A and some of side B, and I'm more kind of open to everything that's out there. So, but we all know that when it comes to media for the last several years, dozen years, maybe 24 years, that media is all about dogmatism. This is my side and I'm sticking to it no matter what. So for cigar media, is pragmatism even possible if you're going to get constant and really heavy engagement and a lot of clicks? Or, you know, what's possible in between pragmatism and dogmatism? Fred, I want to start with you.
Oh God, don't start with me. Wow. That's a really, really good question. I mean, that is a 30,000 foot serious question. Look, you either fight for something or against something. It's easy to fight against something, and it certainly gets attention. I think long term, when you're fighting for something, you will get more attention. So it's tough. I don't believe that anything in our industry, particularly in cigars, fighting against something is the way to go. I think it you know, it's all the hot takes, it's all the stuff that you can do, but I don't know. It's a really good question. I believe in lifting the industry. I believe in collaborations. I believe that it's great that we can all get on the same show, even though tomorrow we're all going to be trying to hope our podcast or our episodes or articles get higher than the other guys. But at the end of the day, I just have to stick with, the side that is like, look, I'm trying to further the industry. I'm trying to further cigar smokers and what we all love about it, that we talked about right out of the gate at the top of the show, what we love about the industry. So yeah, that's where I'm going to have to lean.
We've lost our host. Is he?
Oh.
Is he?
Wow,
Did he?
he's gone.
Do you guys
He's gone.
Did he break the seal? Is that what's going on
do
right
you guys
now?
take commercial breaks on this show, for crying out loud?
Yeah, this would be. By the way, great.
I'll handle this. Eric, what do you think about that?
I'm
Well,
leaving now too. Go ahead.
when I was a teenager, I had a T-shirt that said, "My karma ran over my dogma," and not a lot of people got it. But I would say,
that's good. I
thank
like
you.
that.
I would say this: you need a nice, healthy mix, like we were talking about earlier. Like there needs to be, I wouldn't want to be 100% dogmatic on every issue. That would be maybe harsh and mean seeming. Like people might want to. People
Almost
might
Trump-like. That would be Trump-like-ish.
No, I mean, if you're in politics, you should probably be somewhat dogmatic. I mean, let's be honest. Like that's good. That's good when you are talking about morality and those sort of, but we're talking about cigars, for crying out loud. Like if you're talking about cigars and if you're 100% dogmatic, that's going to turn off a lot of people. So I say it's a nice, healthy mix. If you don't have any dogmatic opinions on things, then you're going to be boring. Also, you're going to just seem like a wishy-washy, guy that doesn't have any strong opinions, and people do like the occasional strong opinion. So I'd say it's a nice, healthy mix.
Coop.
So I kind of agree with what everyone's saying, and in general, I like to want to say I strive to be the pragmatic guy. Okay, and certainly I'm open to hearing the other side of a discussion. I have to, at the same time, give my opinion on that, but I'm certainly open to having the other side of the discussion. But there is a but. When I see a brand with destructive behavior out to destroy people, you ain't getting on my platform anymore. And I've had to make some hard choices over the years with that, with several people, and I've made that choice. And it's when I feel it's destructive. Not that I disagree with you, but when you're trying to destroy someone and take someone down, then I have to I can't be pragmatic in that case. I can't give you that platform. I just can't. So I've had to make some decisions. It hasn't been a lot, but I had to make those decisions over the years.
I don't believe you can play to the middle ground. Like it's like blending a cigar. Mm-hmm. You can't blend a cigar for everybody to like, because if you do, you've got nobody. You have to pick it. You have to you can't blend by committee. You have to blend a cigar and go, this is the cigar. This is what I think it should be. You thought it should have been milder. The other guy should have been, stronger, whatever. It doesn't matter. You blend what you want to blend, but you can't. Eric said it very well. You can't just constantly stay in the middle. Every once in a while, you have to pick and go, look, I am against this and I am for this. And I think that's how you maintain.
People want your opinion. They want your opinion on something.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to give that. But I think what the question was, do you give someone the forum to do that when they may be in fundamental disagreement? I think the answer is yes, as long as the behavior is not destructive.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
What if they have their own form?
That's their choice. That's their choice if they have their own forum to do that. They're just not going to do it on my forum, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, and this is one of the Coop and I have had some either phone conversations or text conversations, both about this.
Yeah.
Is some of the toughest, and Fred's even been on some of these conversations. Some of the toughest interviews that I'll just speak for myself. Some of the toughest interviews I've done are when people say outrageous shit that I disagree with on the show live.
Right.
And it's like, okay,
it does happen. Yeah.
I want to maintain the integrity of how about that cigar, but at the same time, it's like when somebody, if somebody just outright right in the middle of the show says, I don't know, that
Packer sucks.
something outrageous like the
Whoa.
well, yeah.
Jeez, that escalated quickly.
That's too far. But if somebody in the middle of a show or something says something like the Titanic didn't actually sink, and it actually came into port and all the people survived, and or Elvis is still alive or something,
the world is flat.
How do you and you can handle it after the fact by saying, okay, I'm not going to engage with that person again because they have said things multiple times that are just outrageous and, pardon me, fucking stupid. But how do you, in the moment, how have you kind of navigated somebody saying something that's just
Well,
outrageous in the
how
moment?
you navigate?
I've had to navigate that a few
Especially-
times. Yeah.
Hold on a second, Coop. How have you navigated, especially when some of those people are your friends off camera?
That's one of the things, is because sometimes I have people who I consider to be dear, close friends that say things that I think are, pardon me, fucking stupid. And they've said those things sometimes on How About That Cigar. And it's very hard to navigate in the moment when somebody says something on your show that's just either it could be insulting to somebody or it could be just downright like tinfoil hat ridiculous. And I'm curious if you guys have ever encountered that on your show and how you've managed to navigate it.
So, what's interesting about this question, Matt, and I know Coop and I have had this conversation before. I am firmly in the dogmatic camp, and I started out being extremely dogmatic when I started out. And I will say, I don't think I've ever told you this, but I will credit you as being someone who I have emulated on shows and in my writing to be more pragmatic, because there are times where I've seen you and I know I can see it on your face that you're being a pragmatist. And I've said to Coop, I don't think I could have done what he just did on that show. I would have challenged it. And maybe that, I don't know what the right call is, but I have very much softened into the pragmatist camp over the years by emulating my behavior after you, because I think you are one of the great examples in our industry of someone who does an excellent job of navigating very difficult waters, especially when we're talking about a live interview. This is not pre-recorded. And so, yeah, Coop.
Yeah, there was a couple of points where I had to edit comment out after a live show. It is, by the way, it is in my rules of engagement of the show. And in both cases, it was someone making a slanderous comment to someone else, where it was, and that wasn't going to be a part of it. And I mean, the big one I think people remember is maybe the Brian DeSin one, where there was something said about Abe. But that was the rules of engagement, and it was seen. That show was so well seen. Everyone made a big fuss about that. But I have done it on a couple of other. There's a couple of other points I had to do it on. Maybe 3 times I've done it. But Matt, I'm going to make a comment here, and you're going to probably get mad at me for saying this. If people are doing that and disrespecting your platform on that, I can't consider anyone like that a friend. That's just my opinion, and I can't give them that platform anymore to do that on. So that's my feeling on that.
No, I can see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, that's it. Then I'm like, yeah, because respect the platform you're on. And I get sometimes people say something they shouldn't, and it happens, right? But like I said, then there's a point where is it destructive to someone? Is it slanderous to someone? That's where you have to look at that. And like I said, it's only been about 3 cases I've had it, I think, on Coop in 13 years going back to Stogie Geeks. There was one we had on Stogie Geeks we had to take off, and I had 2 on Coop. So yeah.
Well, and Eric, I know as a longtime fan and viewer of Cigar Dojo and Smoke Night Live that, you've encountered this before, and how do you, how have you handled it? I guess over the years, and what have you learned from it?
Well, one time I handled it terribly, and the guy made a comment, and I at the time I almost didn't realize what he said. You know what I mean? Like, it was so harsh. Like,
Yeah.
And And then I just didn't say anything else. And I really regretted that for a long, long time. Like, I really regretted not calling him out on that. And so since then, I try to have my radar up, for those types of comments, because I actually like that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if people know this, Fred knows this, but I like to mix it up. Like, that's fun to me. Like, I know some people like that makes them nervous when they start talking about and there's a disagreement. Like, me and Terrence Riley, we'll go at it for 4 straight hours on some topic,
God.
Oh yeah.
And so I actually enjoy that. Obviously, we do it in fun and good nature, and me and Fred have had some kind of topics like that, but we're doing it friendly. But I've had that happen a few times on the show where it wasn't friendly, and since then, I make sure that I'm not going to just let that comment slide. I'm gonna, like I can think of, like right now, three guests that I had where I kind of went at them, and those are some of our most famous shows. Like people still talk about a couple of those where I didn't let them get away with it. And I think people enjoyed the fact that we mixed it up a little bit, and it was kind of fun. And I still regret that one time where I just kind of just let it slide,
Well, and I even remember, Eric, specifically for you, but also from others on this panel who how about that cigar would have announced so-and-so is going to be the upcoming guest on next week's show. And Eric, you have, and Coop, you have reached out, and even John has reached out to me and said, hey, just be careful about X, Y, and Z. And again, I'm not going to name any names right now. But you guys have reached out to me and said, hey, just so you know, I had this person on my show and they stay away from this topic, or stay away from that topic, or even go so far as to say, I had this person on my show last week and I saw that you're having them on your show next week, and don't, and you would say something even as far as, I will never have this person on my show again. And I was like, well, it's kind of too late. So they're coming on my show, but that's good, because I get those caution lights saying, okay, I need to be cautious with what I ask this person and how I ask it, and so on and so forth. And but I think along the way, all of us learn. And I've learned so much from each of you about, okay, this is a place I need to do better, or this is a place that, they've shown me ways that, this person deals better with this type of question, or so on and so forth. Because that's another piece of it, is when you have a guest who you love this person and they're great, but they don't do well on camera. Maybe they're nervous. Maybe they give short answers, and it's hard. You almost feel like you have to drag things out of them.
Yep.
And we've all been in that situation where it's like, okay, this show was like 30 minutes long because they weren't giving me anything, and I wasn't doing a good enough job at the time to get more out of them. And those are tricky spots, man. I know we've all been there.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference. Look, if someone's going to be dogmatic about something because that's their opinion on a particular thing, that's fine. You address that. To me, where I have no tolerance, if someone is dogmatic just because that's their shtick and they're going to be dogmatic on everything, I will shred you as best I can.
Oh, that's a great point. That's a great point. I like that. I think I could definitely develop some more courage in that particular area. But
I think, Eric, you said something that I think it's really thought provoking, and that is being comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think you're very good at, because that is something that I struggle with, is, you do such a great job, and you pointed out, when you challenge something, you're doing it in a really respectful way. You're not making the environment hostile, but you're clearly challenging it. And there is some discomfort, and you have got this great vibe where you are comfortable being uncomfortable. And that is a very challenging thing to do. Again, when you're live on a show, that can be definitely very tricky.
Are you talking about when you said Davidoff was going to be done in 5 years? Is
That's
that
right.
What you're talking about?
Yeah. That's exactly. You
Is that,
nailed
that
it.
what it is?
Their business is over. They're
Yeah,
going to be pulling out of the market. Fire sale, everything.
Budweiser's going to be out of business in the next 5 years.
me and McTavish had a really funny interaction on. I think it was on one of Coop's shows actually.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was Now or Never.
Now or
Now or
never.
Never.
Now or never. Now or never.
But that's
That was
why I
great.
love surgeons so much. We can do that and still love each other just as much
Yes.
after.
It's all fun.
Definitely.
Yep.
So one of the last things that I wanted to ask you guys about is, because I know all of us have gained something and learned so much from something that used to be thriving, and since COVID, even so many years past the whole COVID craziness, is cigar tourism has plummeted so much. And whether it was Puro Sabor or Pro Cigar or Cigar Safari, Perdomo tours, so many factory tours. I think all of us learned so much from those, whether it's consumers who just save up their money to go or media people who get invited, whatever it may be. Are we going to see a resurgence and a return? And I'm talking about outside of the States, because obviously barn smokers are still going on, but there's I love barn smoker events, and I haven't been to one, but I've heard nothing but fantastic things from everybody who's been to barn smoker events. But there's something about being in country with the people who actually make it happen. Do you feel like we're going to see a resurgence in cigar tourism?
I want to answer that before all the brainiacs get into it. It all depends on what's going on with Nicaragua and Venezuela and now Colombia. I don't think anybody's leaving the United States going south past maybe the DR for a little while. And that's just my opinion.
Okay.
On what the fuck's going on with our government.
Okay. Let's start with John McTavish.
So I think you've already talked about this a little bit, Matt, is that many of us have been on, I don't even know if I could count at this point the number of factory visits and field visits and sort of hosted, whether it's Nick Perdomo or Drew Estate or Rocky Patel or Black Label Trading Company. These companies have done a fantastic job of, in the way that we've been talking about being ambassadors for the cigar industry, they are making super fans out of cigar smokers. And I think it's just such an amazing part of our industry, but Raul is absolutely right. There was a stretch of like 12 years where I was going down to Cuba twice a year. I haven't been down since 2019, and I don't know that I will be back, honestly. And so right now, I think, the only countries that are really kind of set up for this is probably DR and maybe to a smaller degree Honduras. I've heard that Honduras, Danley, has become much safer. So I think there's an opportunity to start cigar tourism again in DR and in Honduras, because there's so much you can learn on a factory tour and a field visit. Again, I've been on more than I can count, but I would never say that I was bored. I mean, I always learn something going to a new factory and going to a new field and sitting and talking to a farmer about tobacco and seeds for 2 hours while smoking a cigar. I think it's a critical component of the industry. It's a critical component of teaching cigar smokers about, what truly goes into the industry. And I think you come out of it going, these things should cost $100. Like, I don't understand how I know we complain about the price all the time, but when you actually see all the work that goes into them, it's kind of insane that they're as affordable as they are. And so I really hope that we see a resurgence of that, because it's, it's certainly been a few years since we've seen regular tours out there.
Yeah, 100%. Sensei, I was spoiled and grateful and just beyond excited to have my first trip to Nicaragua be with you and Jordan and Dee and gosh, so many people who that first trip in 2015. And I know you've been back many times since, to whether it's Honduras, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic. What do you see the cigar community as a whole getting out of cigar tourism? And do you feel like it's apt, or it's due for a return?
I mean, the only one that's really stopped completely doing it is Drew Estate. They stopped in COVID. But Perdomo and I mean, if you want to go to Nicaragua right now, you can go to Nicaragua right now. If you want to go to Honduras right now, you can go to Honduras right now. And there's a lot of people doing, private tours. A lot of them, do retailer tour. You got to remember, like with media outlets, once you've gone on it, there's not a whole lot of reason to go on it multiple times, even though, with the dojo, we'll take a different group of guys down there, a different group of people down there. But like a lot of these were like media tours and stuff. And so they bring like, this media group down there. Well, you've already done that with them. You're not going to bring them down there every year. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you even do that? So like, I mean, Perdomo still brings down, God, I don't even know how they have like 45 guys on every,
Yeah, and they sell out every one of them.
Yeah. So it's really the same, other than the Drew Estate part of it. Camacho still does stuff, and Drew Estate sort of shifted to doing the
Barn smokers.
in country stuff, barn smoker and that kind of thing. And will they eventually get back to doing it? I really don't know. Like, maybe they're just happy doing the barn smokers, although it's kind of sad because that's a ton of fun. The Safari is probably the most fun one. That and the Camacho one are the two really fun ones. And then, Perdomo's a little bit more like educational, that kind of thing. But like, I mean, Pro Cigar is going super strong. I mean, geez, you go down there, that thing is packed. I went a year and a half ago with Fred, and it was a blast. We had such a great time together. So
we had a good time too, Eric.
It's still, yeah, Coop, you were there. Yeah. It's still going strong. I think it just for the media guys, it might seem like it's not, because once your media tour has gone, they're probably not going to invite you again for 5 or 6 years because you did it already.
Yeah. So Fred, I know you've been to a number of different, cigar factories, cigar festivals, tours, things like that. How have you kind of seen it evolve over the years?
Look, I don't look, if you're comfortable going to New Orleans and hanging out, or New York City and going to Manhattan, then I think you have the same level of safety that you're okay in DR, Nicaragua, or Honduras, especially under a tour. So I don't think it's a safety issue at all. I think it's becoming a cost issue. I think it's getting more expensive to travel. I think some of these events are a little bit more. Look, when I first started going with Pro Cigar, and I've been to all but I think the first one, I think it was $900 initially. I think it's $2,500 for a ticket now. I would say if your goal is to truly experience cigar culture and it is a bucket list item for you, then either in 2026 or 2027, and I know it's expensive, start saving, figure it out, get to Pro Cigar, get to Puro Sabor. Pro Cigar is an amazing event. Yes, it's got a pricey ticket, and yes, you got to go down there, but from Tuesday to Friday night, you're not paying for a thing, and you're getting to see factories. I also think, and it was brought up earlier, that I think some of these small factories, I think, Black Label and some of the other ones that will bring in a group of people. Yeah. And if you don't have a retailer that's going down there, reach out to Black Label or somebody and say, hey, my local retailer's not going. Is there any way I could piggyback another trip? Do you think there's a trip that I could come down with somebody else that has an extra spot, or maybe can make an extra spot? But I would absolutely, if you think it's something in you that you want to see it, and look, I when I first started in 2011, and Avo dragged me down there, and I was always singing, oh, it's family and it's all about this and 100 hands, and I'm like, yeah, that's a great marketing thing. And then you get down there and you see that it really is. Mm-hmm. It is substantial. And John's point was absolutely right. I don't know why these cigars aren't $100 each. I really don't. I mean, it's just the care that goes into it. So no, I don't think it's dropped off as much as I think there's a price barrier for some people, and everybody has different priorities. But I would say anytime in the next couple of years, try to make it work. It is absolutely an amazing experience.
Yeah. So, Coop, what has your experience been like with cigar tourism over the years, and where do you think it's going next?
Yeah, I kind of agree with most of the comments that was said. But a few things. I think there definitely has been some reduction of it. I think Drew Estate obviously is the most obvious one. But for companies that maybe aren't doing it, there's other. I mean, Drew Estate's probably the best example. The Barn Smoker experience is basically trying to bring the farm experience back to the States, right? So they found another way to kind of create it. Is it a substitute for it? No, but they've done it. You know, I look at what Fuente's done with Jose Blanco. There's a reason why he's covering the U.S. now, because the way he educates people at an event. I just saw him recently in Charlotte, and I can tell you it was all education. It wasn't a sales pitch he was given for Fuente. Those are good things. The festivals, I'll say this. I'm not going back to Puro Sabor anytime soon. And I just think it's hard to do 2 festivals by myself a year. And Pro Cigar is just the one that's better to work with, in my opinion. And they've done a good job. But I don't look at those tours. Those tours are light factory tours.
Yep.
And they really focus on Dominican culture or Nicaraguan culture integrated into these events. So I think that, I think there's a whole value in that piece, seeing some of the Nicaraguan and Dominican culture to do that. Private tours are a great option though. And a lot of factory owners will do that. And particularly if you probably a little harder for a consumer to do that. A media person would have less problems, but I don't think, like I said, I think those the private tours have always been the best ones in my opinion that you'll get, because you're just, like I said, it's a little more intimate, it's a little bit one-on-one. So,
Yeah.
Guys like me, we have to be careful though. Like Nicaragua is a little bit of a hot potato right now, because we have to be careful what we write, because we don't want that held against us. And I was advised about 6 or 7 years ago, before things, and we've heard of some examples of this happening. You just don't want to be that person. Media is still media. And, when my last trip to Puro Sabor, the advice I got was stay in your lane. That was cigars and, Nicaraguan culture. Don't do some other things, is what I'm just saying. And there's videos I may have shot years ago that, I don't know, maybe crossed that line a bit. I don't think it did, but I got to be cognizant of that. So,
were you doing food reviews in Nicaragua, Coop?
If I did, it would have been good, actually. I don't know about Tip Top. That would have been the one, but
Tip Top's delicious.
I am debating doing the Saga review this year.
Saga's amazing.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard to do that. And then Justin mentioned I'm glad Justin mentioned this. He was on the Mexico City with me at the Casa 1910 experience. We didn't go to a factory and we didn't go to a farm on that tour, but they showed us Mexico, and it was really kind of show Mexico, put Mexico in the light with that, and it was a fantastic event. I don't know if they're doing it anymore, but that was one of the best events I went to. 3 days in Mexico City. So
nice.
Oh yeah.
Do you think it's time,
Oh yeah.
Justy?
Actually, I have a watch on, and yeah, it's time, bro.
All right, guys, it is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the number this week for Numero de los Muertos is approximately 85 people die every year from this. So
choking on turkey.
Not. I don't know what the number is for that, but that's
a good guess though.
That is a good guess. That is a good guess.
Is it trying to watch all of Coop's podcasts in a single week? Is that
that's a lot of shows, but I don't think anybody's ever perished.
no? Okay.
How's
Coop didn't even smile at that one. He just didn't smile. Not even nothing.
No, it was good. It was good.
How's far from deep frying a turkey during Thanksgiving?
Oh, deep frying a turkey.
That was my next guess.
This is not turkey related.
It's not
Is it accidental related?
Is it winter related?
It's got to be more than 85.
It's not winter related.
Is it
So
accidental related?
it's not like fireplaces in the house or something.
It's not. Yeah, it's not fireplaces in the house.
Okay.
Eric,
Okay.
Eric, it is not airbags. It is
Okay.
not Dutch oven toxicity, and it is not David Floyd. As always, every single week after week, David
Aerogel?
Floyd, I love you. It is not Nuru gel.
Is it falling off?
S'mores? Is it s'mores accidents?
Oh,
I feel like
putting
I feel like s'mores.
Does
s'mores
this
would be
happen
an
in the
accident.
house? Does this happen in the house?
Putting up the
It-
Christmas lights.
It is not
Raul.
s'mores accidents. It is not Christmas lights, and it does not
Oh.
happen in the house. What were you?
That was the same thing putting up Christmas lights.
Yeah, well,
Is it accidental? Is it
I
accidental?
was going there. Yeah.
It's related to a particular field of work.
Mm.
Painters.
Not accidental.
Painters falling off ladders.
Not painters.
85. 85 is such a
food
small number.
Yeah, it is a small number. We're like in shark attack territory.
Yeah.
Not shark attacks.
Dang it.
Not
it-
bear attacks.
Is it fireworks related?
Not fireworks related. Not food related.
Land or sea?
Could be either land or sea.
Oh,
Alive while smoking cigars in a tent on a patio.
we've all
Not
been there.
that.
Is
Definitely not that.
it drug cartel?
Sushi related accidents.
It is not drug cartel
Is
related.
it, and
Sorry,
this is
Fred, what was it?
worldwide, right? Worldwide.
Worldwide, yes.
Fred,
Oh,
what you say?
That's such a small number.
That's a
Yeah.
tiny number.
He froze.
Sushi
I mean, he
related.
killed 85
Like-
guys
like
just driving
food.
to work the other day.
Food.
It is not elf attacks.
Oh gosh.
So
We're not
this
even
is
close.
So this is
We're not even
accidental.
close.
And
It's-
is this? Would you classify these? You said these are workplace related accidents.
These are related. Well, they're related to a very particular profession,
Airlines.
not airlines,
Hookers.
Electricians.
not hookers, not electricians.
Oh man.
I mean, with Lander C
First
is
responders is a lot
Lander
more
C
than
is
85.
that's a little odd, right? Land or sea.
drowning.
Mall Santa Claus.
Land or sea. I guess I don't have the stats in front of me. I'd say most of them are probably on land, so sea is probably not a factor, but it could be.
Firefighting.
Not fall related.
Way more than 85.
Not
Yep.
plumbers.
Be 85 in a week.
It is not falling off a stripper pole.
Oh. Worldwide.
You got to give us another
85.
clue. I don't know.
Yeah, we need another
Yeah,
clue.
I mean, yeah, this
Unrelated,
is.
is it?
It's not related to first responders. So it's a very particular profession that has a tendency to be a dangerous profession, depending on where and why you're executing said profession.
Oh, this is
It's those guys at Benihana that throw the knives around.
It's not Benihana.
Window.
is it is it is it what do you call exterminator related?
Not exterminators.
Oh, good guess though. Good
Damn it.
guess.
Eaten by an alligator or snake.
Not alligators.
Stuntman, a stuntman accident.
I was thinking of that one too. Yeah.
Not stuntmen.
Not
Good
Not
one.
bull riding.
Good one.
Bull riding, Tony. We said
Is
we
this an
said
outdoor?
C.
Is this
I
an
mean,
outdoor profession or an
How
indoor
are you riding
profession?
bulls at sea, Tony? Come on,
This
you're not helping us here. Come on,
profession
Bulls
could be
at sea.
bulls
this
at
profession
sea.
could be performed indoors or outdoors.
Is it okay? Is this cooking related?
Not cooking related.
Indoors or outdoors?
Is this the worst we've ever done on this?
No,
I
no,
mean-
not at all. Not at all. I mean, we're only like 3 minutes
85.
into the guesses. We're
Impact
doing just
related?
fine.
This
It's not
is-
impact
Is
related.
it specifically seasonal?
No.
Interesting.
Cleaning out.
Are there animals involved?
Animals are not involved, probably.
coal mining?
Not coal mining.
Oh,
Pilot.
At
Pilots.
sea?
Pilots.
Coal
Pilots.
mining at
Not
sea?
pilots.
David Floyd had a good one here.
Fucking
Window
coal. I don't
washer.
So what okay, this how do I give hints without just giving it away?
I don't know. Ask ChatGPT. Isn't it supposed to be
I
the
don't know.
solution? to everything?
Yeah.
It's a very it's a very particular type of profession
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got that far already.
Tell us that.
that
Yeah, wow.
that all of us have some experience with.
Well, this could be very self-revealing. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with this at
I
all.
mean, yeah.
It is
It's not
Japanese
Brazilian
wax.
bikini waxes, John. You're okay.
Okay. You knew where I was going with this.
Okay, is it a shaving accident?
Not shaving.
That's not a profession.
Well, you could
Well,
barber.
the barbers,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
the
Barber of
hairstylists.
Seville.
I don't know.
You could do a barbinating.
Involves another human being.
A barbinating.
What
Barbinating.
is there a particular profession, or at least profession adjacent, that we all have experience? Each of us on this show
Flippers.
now have experience with.
Changing a tire.
No,
Not working on your car.
Can't be
Using a
electrical.
computer.
Can't be plumbing.
not computers, not plumbing, not
It's not-
equipment failure.
And it's something we've all had experience with, which is curious.
It is not choking.
It's
while
not
eating
food. It's not
because
food
of
related. I mean,
not food related.
Media journalists.
Alcohol
Media.
poisoning.
David Floyd.
Nicely done.
Media.
It is
What?
journalists. On
Journalists are
average,
killed.
Good one.
on
Wow.
average, approximately 83 to 86 journalists are killed each year, with the number fluctuating annually based on the global conflict and instability. For example, the period from 2003 to 2022 saw an average of more than 80 journalist killings per year, while other recent reports show an average of one journalist killed every 4 days. Or so, and then let's see. Let's see. A significant.
So one of us isn't going to be on the show next year.
Yeah, well, I mean that makes sense, right? We lost 2 people at the convention center during the booth fire, so yeah, it totally makes sense.
Wow.
Here's the silver lining: is that cigar media is far safer than, say, I don't know, covering Fallujah or.
Well, I guess it depends on what you say, but I hear where you're coming from because nobody's
Yeah.
shooting at me on the trade show floor.
Yeah, and
Hopefully.
Mike Shebeck.
I'm going back to 100% pragmatic. I'm going back to that right now.
I mean,
Right now.
83 to 85 does seem like a lot of journalists killed annually to me.
Matt, if let me know this year if we're under the level, and I'll kill Fred, and that'll get us to 85.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
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 Dark turn.
Wow.
Dark turn.
Dark.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Coop's thinking about, has media gone too far with threats and
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? A lot of cigar media doesn't consider themselves media. I find.
What?
I find that, yeah,
What?
they don't consider themselves media.
Oh, what do they consider themselves?
I'll give you a real example that this happened. So there was a about 5 years ago, there was a media. Well, I don't say there was an invite given to a bunch of people for a political someone who's in politics. It was actually Donald Trump Jr. Right, and I don't care if it was a Democrat or Republican. And if they're asking me to go, I would go, right? And the first thing they said was, if you are media, please leave. So I left, but none of the other media left, and they all argued with me saying, well, we're cigar media, we're not media. And I'm like, well, what's the purpose of being? They asked me not to be there. But I was so shocked how people said that they were not media. They're cigar media. So I've kept. That's what I'm saying. I had a big argument with several people on this.
Coop.
All right.
Coop is
Good
Coop
talk.
is-
Good talk.
Coop is fully on board that Coop is media. Fred Rui, are you media?
I mean, I'm staying in the room, so no. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I am. It's why I ask kids what they want to be when they get older, because I'm looking for ideas. So I don't know what I want to be.
Surgeon, are you media?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'd be considered media.
Sensei, are you media?
Well, media is a very large umbrella, so
Yes.
we are a type of media. So yes,
Sure.
My rationale for leaving was I could have heard something that could have played into something I wrote down the road. So if they didn't want me there, then I don't want to hear it because I don't want to be ever accused of of using something that they asked not to be printed.
Yeah, look, I mean, the number of times I've had a private conversation with the brand owner, and they specifically say this is off the record. So if I'm not media, then why are they saying this is off the record, right?
Yeah, but they specifically asked media to leave. That's why I left.
Yeah.
Coop, your integrity is above.
So you're not investigative media.
Well, yes, kind of.
No, because I don't have the bandwidth to do investigative media. And this has come up actually. Someone else actually in the media asked me about this. I don't have the bandwidth to do investigative media. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have another job and career too. So, and there's a lot of things I have going on, Coop. The time you have to put into that is a lot of time.
Yeah.
If that was my only thing, then maybe I could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would wear an undercover camera, but I feel like I would be washed out on the rolling program on day one. So like, there's just no way I could stick around long enough to get any dirt is the problem.
Yep.
All right. I think it's time to reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postania Cigars. So thank you, Raul, for pouring so much whiskey into this mason jar, because I have had, I'm in the middle of 2 full pours of whatever
there's
this.
a little bit of something else in there now too.
Oh, is there now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, did you augment my glass? Okay, I was like, why does this taste different? But okay, you augmented my glass. So I will say.
So now you have monkey shoulder.
Now I have, yeah. So I will say that
That's next week.
I think if I said earlier, I think I said, but the proof was probably in the range of 106 to 113. I think that's what I said.
I have to do the math. What is that in a percentage? You're confusing me with these numbers.
Oh, sorry. So what is the proof exactly?
104.9.
104.9. Okay, so the proof is one. I was a little
52
high.
for you.
52.
To me, it drinks a little higher than its proof, but that's not a bad thing because I like higher proof whiskeys. And I did get some of a kind of floral thing cooking on the back end, but not overpowering. It was just kind of a good, tasty, classic bourbon flavors. You said 15 year.
15 year.
I was getting a little bit of higher than normal spice levels, more towards the end of a rye kind of spice, but not quite a rye. Is this something I've had before?
See, I was thinking about that early. I'm 50-50 on that one.
But this is from
my collection.
This isn't from a viewer.
No.
Okay. So this is from your
So maybe it's 60-40.
Is this a brand that I've spoken about before?
Is it one of your favorite brands, or we've talked about a lot?
Is it a brand that most whiskey drinkers would know?
Would know, yeah.
And you said this is a barrel strength?
Yep. A cask strength. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'd assume it'd have to be a
cask strength, and it's only 104.9.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, but,
and 85 people a year have died from it. So
that's right.
I'm gonna say this is some type of variety of Michter's.
Nope.
Okay, that's the only guess I have. Let's reveal. It is. Oh, it's a barrel.
Those are good.
All right, barrel craft spirit.
Oh, nice.
And let me dig into that. All right, so barrel craft spirits bourbon, cask strength, 15-year age. 104.9, 52.45% alcohol by volume.
You got to round up. It's 52.5. You can't split the percentage. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes, you can. That's math. You absolutely can.
We're not doing 2 decimal places, Fred.
You absolutely can.
Absolutely not. It's ridiculous.
All right, let's jump into the lightning round, brought to us by J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 114-year-old El Reloj Cigar Factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right, so you guys have been on the show before. You've had the classic lightning round questions. It is time for some fresh, new lightning round questions. Let's give one to each of you guys. All right, starting with John McTavish.
Uh-oh.
If you could bring back any fashion trend from the past, what would you bring back?
Parachute pants.
Yes. Yes.
Parachute pants.
Yes.
No hesitation.
Yes.
I want 50
MC
zippers.
No, not MC Hammer. This is pre-MC
No,
Hammer.
no, not hammer pants.
No, not
Parachute pants. I want 50 zippers,
Yes.
and most of them are non-functional.
Made of ripstop nylon with 50
That's right.
zippers that do nothing.
Yes.
Yes.
Parachute pants.
100%. All right. So
I have a closet full of why didn't you pick leather jackets, by the way. But okay, fine. Go with parachute pants.
all right, Sensei.
Yes.
The question for you is: if you could live anywhere in the world for 1 year, where would you choose?
I would choose Bali.
Ooh.
Oh.
I want to be on one of those little huts out where the wooden thing goes out to the hut and you're like on the water. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I will do that right now. 100%. I could live there for the rest of my life, let alone a year. So there we go, Bali. I'm in.
Let's do that. Let's get like several of them and we can just smoke cigars out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm in.
Yes.
Cool. That's
yes.
very cool.
Book it. All right, Fred. If you could do anything in the world, and I know you've worn so many hats, but if you could do anything in the world as your career, what would you choose?
Fly stunt planes.
Oh, I like that. That is outside of the box. Not what I expected. I absolutely dig that answer, brother. That is. So what is it about that just entices you?
So I have flown them, and I wanted to buy a Pitts, and so when I started the cigar company, I was looking at buying a Pitts stunt plane, and my wife said, "Well, you started the cigar company, so let's talk, later." And then I sold the company, and I said, "Well, I don't have the company now." And she's like, "Well, what are you looking at?" And I told her the plane. She's like, "Well, that'd be fun. We could fly down to Key West or something together." And I'm like, "Yeah, here's the thing: a Pitts only sits one person." And then, that was another thing. I wanted anymore.
Nice. All right, Coop. If you could choose any person from history to be your real-time best friend, who would you choose?
Careful, Coop. Careful.
Yeah.
Wow, you give me the hard one here.
Yeah, you can't pick the Flintstones, Coop.
No, I can't pick them. Okay. Jeez. You hit me with the really hard ones here.
That's a really good one for Coop.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
I'm trying to decide if I want to go historical or culture, like more with a cultural type of thing. So I guess it would be George H.W. Bush.
Okay. And so talk us through it. Why is that your choice?
He seemed like a good man. He just seemed like a good man.
Okay.
And a guy, that, just kind, good. I think he could be a mentor to me. I think we'd get along, so I'm going to pick him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that one.
Yeah.
So McTavish, I don't think I gave you a lightning round yet, did I?
Yeah.
No.
Parachute pants, baby.
Oh, parachute pants.
Oh yeah.
And
Right.
no hesitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Clearly, that's how well we remembered it. Is he didn't even know he asked your question. So
Yeah.
All right.
No,
So
it's George Bush in parachute pants flying in a stunt plane all the way to Bali. Boom.
yes.
Do that. And I think he would do that.
Yes.
I mean, not the parachute pants part.
That
Yeah,
is-
no.
What if he
critical.
fell out of the plane? He might need a parachute.
I can always console George Bush when they were calling him a wimp and stuff like that. So I think it would get along.
So Mike Shemikevich asks, he says, Matt, is HBTC Cigar Media? Yeah, for one more week.
Yep.
We are. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Talking about dark. Woo,
Wow.
awkward.
Mike's coming in hot.
Awkward.
Yeah, for one more week we are. All right, let's do this week's notable smokables. This is a cigar that we smoked very recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's brand new to the market that we tried for the first time ever, or this could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades, but we just revisited that cigar again for the first time in a very long time. So, Sensei,
Yeah.
what is a notable cigar that you had recently, whether it's old or new?
Ooh, that's tough. I've been smoking a lot lately as we go into cigar of the year categories. And so we've been trying a ton of things to make sure that we haven't missed something. So that's a tough question. I'm gonna go with one that isn't part of that conversation that I just said. I've been smoking through these Avowed cigars that are made
choice.
at Kellner's
Very
factory.
good, very good cigar.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying these. This is fun. They're neat looking, and they all have kind of a similar flavor, but it happens to be a flavor that I like. So I'll give some love to Avowed because I think it's a fun new brand.
Nice. Coop, what about you? What's something you smoked recently that stood out?
Well, I mean, this may be a little bit but I smoked it for the first time last week and actually reviewed it. It was the Fuente Padron Legends, the Padron for Fuente cigar.
Ooh.
The one that Padron
Wow.
blended for Fuente. That was an excellent cigar. I mean, it really was. I might have given it a slight edge to I smoked the other one, the Fuente for Padron. I think I give this Padron for Fuente a slight edge here. It was a really good cigar. It just showed me like why Padron is Padron. It was a great cigar.
Okay, nice. Fred, what about you? Something recently that really jumped out?
I just feel like I wish somebody had made a list recently and published it. Now available in your local cigar shop. If I'm going to pick one of the 30, which we just released, they're not new cigars, but they're cigars you're walking past. Lately, when I was doing this list, the Herrera Esteli was one medium category, very Cuban-esque type, kind of hits the wheelhouse, perfect for me. That was one of the 30 in the medium category. We did 10 mild, 10 medium, 10 full, and that was on my list.
Nice. Yeah, classic. Absolutely. Surgeon.
I've also been crazy about doing top 25 reviews lately, but one that stands out for me is I just got called up last week to do a cigar event. I was emceeing a cigar event, which, by the way, I've done a few of these, and mad respect for anyone who does emceeing at a cigar event because it's not easy work.
Oh, I know. I just found that out.
It's very hard work.
I just found that out.
Yeah, but one of the brands that was there represented was Black Label, and I got to try, smoke several of the Black Label Killer Bees, which it's just such a great blend. Yeah, and it was just I haven't smoked one in quite a while, and so that was just sort of took me back of just a great core offering from Blackworks. Yeah, fantastic.
Nice. Justy, what's a notable for you this week?
I'm going with whatever it is you just gave me tonight because that was the best one I've had all week. So.
Do you like
Oh,
that?
that's the last one. There's no more. So good luck with that.
Very limited production.
Yeah, only 10 were ever made.
Right.
Yeah, basically.
I'm going
True limited.
Raleigh, what about you?
That was a good cigar, but I tried the new Deliverance from Blackworks.
Oh, the new one, yeah. Yeah, nice.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and for my notable, I got to go with tonight's cigar. I call it a cop out, call it whatever you want, but it's true. So I'll try to get it close up there. So this was rolled on November 12th, 2015, Hoya de Nicaragua.
On Thighs of Virgins.
Probably not, but yeah, that's even after 10 plus years, the cigar holds up. It's got this Hoya blend, has good body, good strength, and good flavor. Definitely all the way around. So coming attractions. This is an easy one, actually. Next week, December 8th, is the final episode ever of How About That Cigar Live. So what we're going to talk about, what we're going to do, you got to tune in to watch. So it's going to be a good time. But the focus, I will say this, the focus is going to be what our mantra is, which is burn cigars, not bridges. So we're just going to talk a lot about a lot of different stuff, just like we did on tonight's show. So that is coming attractions. So Fred, I want to start with you. You mentioned your list and your issue that is available now, but talk us through. I've had a little bit of whiskey. Talk us through what you guys have coming up soon and what we should be paying attention to from Cigar Press.
I mean, we're going to have the top 25 list out at the end of the year. We're working on that. We've been working on that for a while, so that's going to take some time. We just dropped. This should be in the stores right now. We mail them to 2,000 stores, multiple copies. This is our essential 30 list, so we just put that out. Having some fun with some videos and stuff online. So follow us at Cigar Press on your social medias. That's it. That's all I got.
Awesome. Surgeon, let us know what Developing Palates has on the radar.
Yeah, we are also working on our top 25 list and the end of the year cigar show, but that won't be for a little while. We usually publish sometime in January, so you're going to have to wait until after the Christmas season for that. But I'll be doing some guest spots coming up pretty quick. I've got KMA Talk Radio this Saturday, I believe, and then I think I'm doing a guest spot with Coop on the. Well, I'll let Coop talk about that.
Yeah. Well, next week is the CA, the top 25 CA prediction show. So
Nice.
We'll have that going on. So John will be on. There'll be members of the Coop team on, and that's the most comprehensive breakdown of the CA list out there. I like to call it bracketology meets the cigar industry. Much like how those berths happen in making the tournaments and stuff. It's a similar type of analogy. I will say this is a very tough year for this, for sure. It's gonna be a tough one to pick the number one this year. But more importantly, the Coop list starts unveiling December 12th. Friday, December 12th, we'll start the countdown, and that will go till January 12th, with a couple of days off in between that. So you'll see that. Accessory-wise, look for the Cigar flip cutter to come up for review.
Nice.
And for folks who want to know the next food review, the 2025 edition of the McRib is coming up on Friday.
Nice.
I did review the 2024 and
Nice.
The 2025. I have a couple of nuances with it, so that will be coming up on Friday. Yeah,
Classic.
yeah.
You actually eat those things?
They're good.
Fucking terrible.
All right, Sensei, let us know what is coming up on Dojo Verse, Smoke Night Live, and Flavor Odyssey.
All right. Flavor Odyssey Wednesday. Robbie and Randy will be doing pairing tips. So anything from simple tips on how to pair cigars with drinks and all the way up to advanced tips. That's on Wednesday. On Friday night on Smoke Night Live, we have a Dear Santa episode where Juan Cancel and this little guy I know named Fred Rui. I don't know what his name is. He'll be on the show. We're going to find out what Santa is bringing them. That should be a fun time. And the cool part is Cigar Press and Cigar Dojo are giving away 12 things for the 12 days of not Christmas, but Cigarmas. So if you want to have a chance to win a special prize from Cigar Press magazine and or Cigar Dojo, go to cigarpress.com or cigardojo.com and you can get entry details there. We'll be giving away a whole bunch of stuff this month for the holidays.
Fantastic.
Well, Juan, do you dress up like Santa?
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I think we need
Puerto Rican Santa.
Absolutely.
a Wanta Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wanta Claus.
That'd be great.
I think we need that.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say on behalf of everybody here at How About That Cigar, all our viewers and listeners, how grateful we are to Fred, to John, to Will, and to Eric, and to so many other countless people in cigar media for supporting us, for guiding us, for giving us direction and encouragement through the years. And so grateful for what you guys have given to us over the years. And we will continue to consume and learn from your content in the coming years. And we wish you guys the best. And thank you so much for being a part of this episode 311 of How About That Cigar. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for our viewers and listeners of being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We're so grateful for you guys hanging out with us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on
Rumble.
And if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thanks so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. If you want to follow us on all of the beautiful places, click on all the buttons, the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button, so you don't miss anything we have coming up, which, you know, isn't a whole lot, but it's really, really, really good stuff. So be sure to not miss what we have coming up. And if you have questions for us, you can still email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Be sure to follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. That is at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.